Screeners! Yeah, I actually should have done some movement because, last time it was quite embarrassing to just be like, then it was like, oh, sugar. Yeah, for some reason, StreamYard didn't agree with what we were doing. But hey, guys, before we kick off, hey, Screeners, how you doing? It's myself, the 1AJ. I'm back and free of the global one. And just want to say, really, guys, thank you for all the love that was outpoured. Big shout out to Big Tone, who was covering me. Hey, you replace one with another. It's the way to do it. And obviously, Nico, good to see you again, bro. Good to see you again.
Staying alive, mate. Staying alive. Fight. Not going near the global one. And happy to welcome my best mate back on our show. Yeah. But also, as you said, I want to put a massive shout out to Big Tone, who did a solid for us last week.
Big time. Yeah.
And the audience liked him. So Big Tone will definitely be coming back.
Yeah. To be fair, if they didn't, they were stuck with him because for certain shows he needs to be on. But no, it's way more exciting to know they did appreciate him. So now, thank you guys for the love in welcoming Big Tone to the family. That's what it's all about. And this is it. And talking of, how can I say it? This is always a bit of a emotional episode. It's the end of a season.
Season 4's over.
How do we do it? I mean, what? It's weird because you're going to say what a year, but then if you think of it, last year was more of a what a year for cinema and challenges. So like we were allowed to go to cinemas. You had this awkward thing where films are still being released on digital release and cinema at the same time, and it's a weird one. I'm going to put it out there to you guys now. I wanted some films, because of the way the timescales are, you just miss them. So I am kind of heavy on the blockbusters, but yeah, I got a mix where I could. And some films have just been meh.
You're just being nice. It's not been a good year for cinema.
I wouldn't say that because I've had some good cinema moments. I've had some good on-demand moments. I'm not going to lie. Like, you can have them.
Compare this year to 2017.
Bro, you can do that at any given point. Like, compare it to 1994 when we first went to the cinema and watched Jurassic Park. Like, no, it's like you can do this, but it's awkward because it's also. I appreciate the fact, and I know certain things have been in production way before all of this madness happened, but in a time where things have just been, I was going to say shaken, but. Like
yes,
I was like, hold back. Like where things have been all over the place, we've had a chance that some stuff were rushed earlier last year, some stuff have been delayed a bit more. For instance, John Wick. Like, what the hell, man? Like John Wick 4. What are we doing?
We're getting the fuck out of Dodge of Top Gun, is what we're doing,
bro. I don't know. We could do, but I think they're two different markets, man.
Bro, yeah, of course they're different markets, but whatever money you're going to make is John Wick. If you end up on the same release weekend as Top Gun Maverick, get the fuck out the way. Because OMG, that movie is anticipated by the masses.
Interesting. Yeah, so
you don't fuck with Tom Cruise at the box office. You just don't do it.
Yeah. Can I say, actually, during my week of isolation, I completed one of my sins.
Can we just, by the way, while you're talking about this, notice how many people are welcoming you back, which is really lovely.
I haven't even looked at comments.
Bro, comments
Pedro, thank you very much.
Really Pedro, welcome back. AJ, Gavin, man, AJ's back. Riri Thomas says, welcome back, AJ. Guys, I love you all. It's so nice for you to be showing love to AJ like that. Thank you so much.
It, guys. I am actually fully touched, like big time. Thank you so much. And then, yes, I did see that before we even pressed live that Den had, like, what was it? Peace and welcome. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. Like, really appreciate it. It's been an awkward one. But yeah, I actually completed the Mission Impossible. I'm caught up in the Mission Impossible world now. Yeah.
Here's a question. Can you differentiate Mission Impossible 5, 6, and 7 from each other? Because I sure can't. Or is it 4, 5, and 6?
I was going to say 4, 5, and 6 because 7's on its way.
See, there you go. So I here's my thing with Mission Impossible. I know when I go in, I always have a good time, but I never really go back and revisit them.
Well, when you do a back-to-back, it's a bit more awkward, yeah? And for the longest while, I'd actually stopped at 2. Like, I was literally like 1 and 2, and that was it. And I was like, oh, Tom, really? And like, as you said, I had a good time, so there was no reason for me to disconnect. I just thought, are we really going back there? My God, I wish I tuned into those earlier. I had a freaking good time, man.
Oh, they're great, mate.
I
They're
had
great.
a good time. Yeah. So for
You
me, it's a
cannot
bit
go wrong
unfair
with
because I
them,
could
mate,
tell
with,
you 3, 4, 5, and 6 like in their order, but yeah.
Someone
And
does need to have a sit down with Tom Cruise and say, "You, my man, you know you're 50. You shouldn't be hanging out of planes anymore, or falling out of helicopters, or jumping from roof to roof, or trying to drown yourself, or riding motorbikes without a helmet. Bro, you're 50. What are we doing? Like, respect. Stop it."
But it's funny you say that though, because that's the thing that made it a bit more edgy for me. It's not that I'm like, I always stop to think, oh, that's a stuntman, but I was like, he's actually doing that. Like each film I'm watching, I'm going, he's actually doing that. He's doing
mental,
that.
isn't he? Quick question from Pedro Sancto. Some of the best titles of the year seem to have not been made available yet. How many here have had the chance of seeing Parallel Mothers and Drive My Car? Pedro Sanctos, one of those I've seen and is on my list.
There was one other film that was actually on my list. Like it caught my attention, but I didn't get a chance to see it. So it's on my list of films. And it's meant to be a horror, but it was dubbed possibly the film of the year. But I was like, okay.
Malignant?
Yeah.
I love it. Loved it.
Okay.
It's not on my list.
Okay, fair enough. I thought by the way that you brought it up, I was like, probably not on your list.
No. I love, bro. I appreciate James Wan because he's always trying to push the boundary with what the horror genre is, and I felt like he was trying to kind of reinvent the genre in this one. And I always admire when directors do that, whether they succeed or not. You've got to like give them kudos.
Cool.
Like the fact that it kind of went almost to a Matrix action movie and act through. I was like, okay, I'm no longer afraid, but okay, bring it.
Fair play. Cool. We have a few more. Wow, the comments are
Josephine DeMarco has just meant. So here we go. Josephine DeMarco saw Licorice Pizza last night with my mother. We loved it. So Licorice Pizza is like top of my list of movies I wanted to see in the build up to this list. Doesn't fucking release in the UK until January. So for those of you who are not watching live on YouTube and who are listening in hindsight on podcast, it goes without saying that this list is like movies which are released in the UK, because you're watching on YouTube. You can actually see us. You know, we're based here in the UK. But yeah, Licorice Pizza is something I am dying to see. Like Paul Thomas Anderson for me all day long. And Josephine's, yeah. The fight scene in Malignant was hilarious. Exactly right. Francis Lalonde says, been hearing good things about Don't Look Up.
So I'm halfway, just under halfway, to be honest. I'm watching it as we speak. I was hoping to squeeze it in and like maybe I would have been able to judge it or not. It's weird. I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like groundbreaking. And I think it's because they're trying to
bash you over the head with a Greenpeace
message. And I think it's meant to be comedy. And at the same time, it's just because it's all being bashed on the head. It's just like, it's average. It's average from what I've seen so far. And I've got one family member who has actually watched it. Shout out Darren. And he's just like, yeah, it was okay. But as he agrees, definitely you're being bashed over the head.
It's the old vegetarian Argentine steakhouse argument I make, isn't it? You're not going to convince people if you're trying to get people to convert. If you haven't heard this before, guys, listen up. And if you have heard it, I apologize. If you are a vegetarian, respect. But if you want to convert people to being vegetarian, the way to do that isn't to sit down and make them feel bad about being meat eaters. Case in point, you're not going to go up to an Argentine steakhouse, bang on the window and scream, "Animal murderer!" Everyone inside is just going to give you the middle finger and just cut an extra big slice of their steak to provoke you. I would do the same, right? You don't get people on board with your message by smashing them over the head with it. And from what I've heard, Don't Look Up's a bit guilty of that.
Yeah, and do you know what I think is the other thing? If it was, how can I say this? When you have Meryl Streep and Leonardo DiCaprio in a film, right? Amongst others, Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill, like that's who I've really seen in the film so far. There are others I've seen from the credits, right? You're expecting some shit to blow you away. And when it's just a basic film with respect, but had it had a lower cast, you might appreciate it a bit more when you know, there's a certain anticipation, there's a certain pressure that comes with certain names, maybe. And I feel like it's just not an easy paycheck for them, but it's not one where they had to go into Oscar mode, if you would. And you're like, really? I saw you and I saw you. I was expecting this and I'm getting this. Like,
tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. So
Moonlight did it well. Let's do some box ticking. Anyway, August Fernandez Britos is in the house. What up, August? Both for the Hobbit is in the house. AJ and Nico. Yeah, we got Francis Lalonde, we've got Gavin Mann, we've got Josephine DeMarco, we've got Pedro Santos, we have got Den the Tech, we got Riri Thomas. Let's get into it, man.
Okay, cool. So before we get into it, would you like to tell anyone joining us for the first time what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Basically, it's a top 10 show between two best friends from school. How does it actually work, though? AJ and I each get assigned a list. We go our separate ways. We come right back here into recording/audio, and we deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom 3. I will then deliver my bottom 3. AJ will deliver his next 2. I will deliver my next 2. And then we will trade one apiece. If at any time, while we are running off our individual top 10 movies, our individual top 10 lists, rather, one person has a movie in a high position, that person will say...
Punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the higher position. And once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create the Movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of this genre, which this week is...
the top 10 movies of 2021. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. One thing I will say, I really just appreciated reconnecting with cinema this year. Like,
yes.
When I say cinema, film in general, but the actual cinema experience. Like I hit that place a few times, man. Even to the point of taking the missus for a double 2 movies one day. Like we've never done that. I know we've done that. Like me and her have never done that. So yeah, it's been cool. It's been cool. And saying that,
at the cinema. So number 10. I said it's been nice being back at the cinema.
Yeah, but saying that, in at number 10 is a film I didn't see in the cinema. I watched it fresh on Disney Plus. Luca.
One I'm still yet to see, I'm afraid.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, haven't got around to it.
But this is it. Do you realize, like, when in a world where stuff are being released on Netflix, that will be coming up later, stuff are being released on Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, the cinema, it's actually harder to, because it just permits for so much media to be exposed at one given time. And yeah, it's difficult. So Luca is really interesting. Like, what I love about Pixar, I mean Disney's it, but it's really Pixar. They really like to give us different cultural backgrounds, different stories from different places. So, you know, we had Coco, which tells us Dias de Muertas. You know, it shows you the South American traditions, and now you've got the various parts. This was just a nice little traditional Italian movie. On the other side, though, we are talking about sea monsters, which I'm sure is a part of like Italian folklore, as far as I've ever been told. So it was fun. It was heartwarming in places, but it was very cheesy and on the nose, and to that degree, quite childish on another side. So it was a nice film. It was warming, but then there are other parts that I just looked at it and I felt like, yeah, really? So, but it's definitely something I would recommend to most people to watch, especially if you've got youngers around you. It's a go-to. Obviously, your young one is way too young for it, but
no
I think
TV for her yet. No.
Yeah. But well done, by the way. But yeah, no, it was a nice, fun movie, just about a creature from the sea who wants to live the human.
It's the Little Mermaid.
I was going to say the more I feel like it's Little Mermaid told in a different way, but it has an interesting side to it because it's a matter of choices. But you especially at this age, you kind of know where it's going. But it was interesting because he's got another sea monster friend who's.
Where does it rank in Pixar's amazing pantheon of films? Where does it rank?
It's not top 5. Don't get me wrong. There are too many.
It's not Toy Story and Inside Out territory.
No. It's not that. It's a nice film. If I was to bring it close to anything, it would be, what was that film I really liked last year with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland?
Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
The Elves.
Onward.
Yeah. It's in that same kind of category where they're good, but they're not the. You know what I mean? They're nice.
They're not going to change your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not going to say miss it because I wouldn't. I'm still defending this film. It's made it in the top 10, but I prefer Onward to Luca. But it's a good film. It's a very nice film.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, give it a shot. Like, you won't be disappointed in watching it. You know,
Bro, I will. It's just one I haven't got around to. What's your number 9?
right? In at number 9, I was hesitant at this film, and I loved everything that came from it. Like, I had a good fun. It's fun. It's stupid. It's Mortal Kombat.
I'm so glad you put that on.
Bro,
I didn't have room for it on my list. I had such a fucking good time with this film, man.
Can I just say, in one word, Kano.
Yes. Yes. Kano wins, bitch.
Stole the show. And I think what makes it even funnier is if you ever tell me video game, cartoon, anything, Kano has never been one that I relate to. Like,
Den
Kano's
disagrees. Nope.
That's up to you, Den. I had too much fun with this to not
Loved it.
not respect
Loved it.
Like I honestly did not think it was gonna touch me. I thought, okay, here we go. Let's see what it is. Another video game movie. By the time that film was finished, I wanted so much more. I had a great laugh with it. We talk about it's a potential spoiler, but I'm not going to go into that territory for anyone who hasn't seen it. I know you have seen it, Dan. We talk about earning certain things that are meant for in a film, and one of the key ones we talk about is "I am the law" in Dread.
Yeah.
There was another film that we talked about recently where it's like you have to
Assemble.
Assemble. Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah. This was kind of that thing as well. Scorpions, come here. Like, this film is
No. Come on. You did not just fuck the line up.
Go for it.
Get over here. Come on. It's not come here.
I don't know why my brain always says that. Plus, it's been a long time.
Riri Thomas, is it the best Mortal Kombat movie we have had? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not even a contest. It's not even close.
That was absolutely... It honored the game in such a way that it's so weird because it's the stuff where you hear brutality, flawless, like it's those
flawless
bits
victory,
where
yes.
and you're like,
fucking hey, man. When Kung Lao twatted them and just went flawless victory, I was like, oh my god, the geek in me is freaking out here.
But it's the way they say it. All right, it has an element of cheese, but it works.
It's a fucking fighting game come to cinema. Of course, it has an element of cheese. Enjoy the fromage.
Of course.
Embrace the rock. Can you smell it? Can you smell the cheese? Eat it.
Yeah, they just. I think they worked it out so well. Honestly, so well. And as I said, with a lot of games, there may be stories, but sometimes you get games like Metal Gear Solid where you have to pay attention to the story. Then you get others where it's like, just let me fight. I don't care what it is. So I don't know too much of the backstory of Mortal Kombat because I'm just here to kick someone's ass. That's the way I play the game. I like the way they gave me a story to work with, and I was like, yeah, this worked. And as I
liked the fact
it was the
that
comedic
they developed the
element.
Bihan and the Scorpion storyline.
Yeah,
they really went into that. To be honest, I still think the best Mortal Kombat thing we have ever had is Legacy on Machinima Network. That series I showed you. To this day, that remains the best Mortal Kombat I've ever seen. As a movie, this is tops for me. Den disagrees and thinks the first one is better.
This is where I sometimes wonder like how nostalgia comes, because obviously what happens is we had Street Fighter. I'm talking the Van Damme, not the animation or anything that came out.
In the balls.
Right. We had that. And then we got Mortal Kombat, which obviously was like, this is how a video fighting game should be made. Like, it obviously kicked its ass in such a way that you appreciated it a lot more. And so I've had that fond memory of Mortal Kombat, but I'm aware of that one is very much embrace the fromage and embrace the B movie.
Completely.
That's the thing with it.
And I love it for it.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's
Scorpion in that versus Scorpion in this. I take this one. This Scorpion with Hiroyuki Sanada playing. Oh, so good. Just all the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a mark for Sanada. So when I see that, like him playing Scorpion, I was like, yep, cool, done.
That was it.
Movie's got me.
Yeah. No, I and it was that part, and again, I don't want to hit into spoilers, but you see a poster at the end, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so that's why I didn't see that." Like,
Miz, cast the Miz, just cast the Miz.
You have to,
just cast the Miz.
Just do it.
Just cast the Miz.
It just makes perfect sense.
Pedro Sanctus, to answer your question, did folks see Riders of Justice? If you're referring to the Danish film with Mads Mikkelsen, half of it, thoroughly enjoying it.
Cool.
And who was it better than Street Fighter? Asked Gavin Man. Yes.
Yes.
Substantially. Sorry, I've missed it, but someone just said that their honorable was the Snyder Cut. I agree with that statement. The Snyder Cut is definitely an honorable.
So I think I would have made so fun fact, the file is actually sitting on my computer, like ready to watch. And it was, I caught up with I've corrected a lot of wrongs. And I just didn't get to correct that wrong. I still haven't had a chance to see that. So I'm still on the actual Justice League. I've not seen Snyder Cut. And I forgot that it was this year. Otherwise, I definitely would have made
it's
sure.
Good.
It's listen, I've heard
completely different movie. Like, it's night and day.
This is what I keep hearing. When it comes to this film. It's just, yeah. Hey.
Your number 8, sir?
Tom Cruise won. Right, in at number 8, Respect, Jennifer Hudson as Aretha Franklin. So,
movie's average and she's great.
Come again?
Movie's average and she's great.
So she's great. Do you know who was actually my standout star? And it's something that I was shocked at. It was Marlon Wayans.
No shit.
Bro, do you know what it is? Marlon Wayans can actually act. This is what, like,
yes.
You're a fan of Requiem for a Dream, so I know you're definitely.
That's it.
Right? But for some reason, and I know the Wayans family are like all over comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him and Sean were doing the Wayans brothers and all that. I cannot stand the Scary Movie franchise and all those other spoof films they've done. And that's what I really disconnected from him from. But when I actually see this guy take an actual serious rock, like, it's like, dude, please just stick to this.
He's like the black Adam Sandler, or Adam Sandler's like the white Marlon Wayans.
Yeah.
Because when they're not doing stupid comedy, those two are serious, man.
But do you know what it is? Do you know what bugs me more? Is I can watch an Adam Sandler. As much as I know they're cheesy, I can watch them and get on. I hate Marlon Wayans' comedy. Like, it bugs me what I see from there. And then I see something like what he does in this, and I'm like, you're freaking amazing. Like, pure, like, in a world that if I could ask everyone to share this just for this message to get to Marlon, dude, stick to the serious stuff. Like, your Oscar will be there, man. You can freaking act. You are power. Leave the comedy to Damon, to Keenan Ivory. Like, bro, just keep doing it. Like, I really like what he does when he does serious. The film.
Frank,
you know what
sorry, just quickly, Frank Torres is here. Hello, friends. AJ, good to see you back.
Thank you very much, Frank. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm back. Yeah, the global one could only hold me down for 10 days as per legal requirements. Yeah, what I found about this film, as you know, I'm a sucker for a biopic. So and then Jennifer Hudson playing Aretha Franklin, like, you could keep ticking the boxes, and I will keep saying, yeah, give me my ticket. What bugged me with this film is there are some life situations in Aretha Franklin's life that we kind of like see, and then like you're aware that it happens, jump onto the next thing, and you're like, huh? Like, it's not even a spoiler. She goes out, she goes marching with Martin Luther King. Then she comes back. You see her coming back from a bus, and then she's got 2 kids running up to her saying, "Mummy," and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Where? How? What? Yeah, like, I appreciate that there's only so much you can tell in the film. There's other parts that are more important to be told, but you can't just mysteriously say 2 kids. Like, even if it was a scroll, I don't know what I need to see, but I need to see it. I can't just be from this young girl who's gone into church, talking to Reverend Martin Luther King, comes back and there's 2 kids. Like, how?
Hey, we marching on Selma. I'm a mummy.
It's just like, huh? And I'm not even talking like 4. Like, these kids were like, one of them was like literally about 8 and shit. And you're like,
But for the Hobbit coming in with some knowledge, Aretha Franklin got pregnant at 12 years old.
So this is another thing, right? I read that through Wikipedia.
Right? Maybe we should have put that on screen. Just a thought.
Well, okay, but here we go. No, exactly. Yeah, I'm not looking for that. But all right, here we go. I might as well. It's pretty early on in the film, so I'm not getting into this point. But you can see this point in the film where it looks like she's in contact with a paedophile. Let's not butter it up in any way. That's not actually been proven in her life. But again, the time frame in between stuff, has you questioning, is one of the kids the product of that? But then the time frame is like, but no, too much has gone on in between that for that to have even happened. It is so weird. But again, these are the questions, and you're like, huh? But how did this happen? And those are the parts that really bugged me about this film. But again, if you've got Jennifer Hudson singing the Aretha classics and this,
You get me.
the history of the Queen of Soul, I'm not gonna hate on it too much. But
AJ,
it needed more meat on the bone.
let me embrace my inner Jurassic Park and say, hold on to your butts. Chris Trengrove's in the house. Hi, movie fans. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, how are you? Hey, welcome. Like, yeah, I'd love to hear what Chris's movies of 2021.
I know what his movie of the year is. It's a good one. It's a good one.
You got Twitter on your side, so you wouldn't.
I do. It's true.
But
So
yeah,
those are your
that's
bottom
my
three, yeah?
Yeah, that's my bottom three. Over to you, sir.
All right. In at my number 10, despite the fact that this movie flopped and despite the fact that we had to deal with the ramblings of old man granddad Ridley Scott, actually a pretty fucking good movie. Number 10, The Last Duel. Had a really, really good time with this. The same way that you're a sucker for a biopic, I am a sucker for a good medieval swords and sandals affair. Now, some people argue that the method of storytelling didn't lend itself well to this particular story. I disagree. I actually thought it left it nice and open enough so that the audience could kind of piece things together themselves. The story, in essence, AJ, is you've got Matt Damon plays a knight who's got aspirations of being more than just a knight, but he's got a chip on his shoulder and he doesn't know how to play the politics game, right? And he never gets promoted, essentially, right? His best buddy, also played by, played by Adam Driver, who's also a knight, does know how to play the politics. Now, the thing you have to play the politics with is Ben Affleck, who's kind of like the reigning, let's call him the reigning bourgeois, right? Now, it's kind of nasty because essentially what happens is Adam Driver rapes Matt Damon's wife. But where you see the story from three perspectives is to start off with Matt Damon's, and he makes, obviously, you've got to bear in mind that you are seeing it very much from this perspective. So each three of these narrations is the unreliable narrator because it's the world according to me, essentially, right? And it's up to the audience to kind of string it all together, which I loved.
That is actually really interesting. I actually like that.
It is. It's a true story. So kind of at your territory with the biopic. So you should actually get a kick out of that. But, you know, the first story is about how Matt Damon's this, oh, yes, I'm such a great knight. And look at all these people who are out to get me. And what? My wife has been raped. You shall have no mercy from me, sir. Then it's Adam Driver, who kind of implies that he was led on by her and that it's a complete, and that he's the heroic one and that he saved Matt Damon in battle. Then you get it from her perspective. And it's like, wait. That's not similar to either of them. Who the fuck do I believe here? Anyway, the movie culminates. I'm not going to reveal the ending, but the movie culminates with essentially trial by fire, because they can't decide who the fuck's telling the truth. So wifey gets put on a fucking pike, and everyone's ready to set her on fire. Meanwhile, husband and rapist are the ones fighting, and whoever wins decides her fate. It's like, hey, we are men. It's the Middle Ages. We are manly men, swinging our dicks around, our metallic penises, and the woman must burn if one of us fails. I mean, it's pure medieval, right? But it's a true story, and it actually shook France to its core that a woman could potentially overthrow an empire, that type of thing. It's a great film, man. Ridley Scott's other rambling film, however, I know didn't make your list, House of Gucci. Didn't care for it so much.
So it's one of those things that I really wanted to catch, but just again, so much media are just trying to catch it, everything in between. I just didn't get a chance to see it. Missed it.
It's on Disney Plus.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Navigate over to Stars, right there, free of charge.
Piss off.
Swear down.
Because I was left the cinema, that's me done. And you know that's got to be something for me to have left.
You said at the top of the show it's getting hard to track where shit is, right?
Bro, yeah. Okay. So was it, out of curiosity, was it there as well as the cinema? Was it both released at the same time? Or did it?
No, so basically this movie flopped at the cinema. This
Yeah,
movie made
for a
like
couple of
this
weeks. It
movie
wasn't
made like
long. It wasn't long.
bro, it made like 4 million worldwide.
Ooh.
Like
Ooh.
4 million, you would expect a movie which Ridley Scott has directed, starring Matt Damon and Adam Driver and Ben Affleck, to make like 4 million on a Thursday night. And its entire runtime.
Sorry. We're talking.
Yeah, no, in its entire runtime. This movie.
I thought you meant House of Gucci was on bloody Disney.
No, Last Duel's on Disney Plus.
Okay, all right.
No.
Last Duel,
yeah.
fair enough. All right, that I will definitely be checking out then.
House of Gucci, really not very good. Fantastic trailer. My quick 2 cents about that one. I do not fucking understand the hate that Jared Leto gets for playing Paolo Gucci. He's meant to be playing an idiot. I think the people who are hating on Jared Leto for the way he's portraying Paolo Gucci are the same people hating on Orlando Bloom for the way he portrays Paris in Troy.
That was so annoying. Come on, he was meant to be annoying. How could you be upset by that? He's a sniveling idiot. That's the
He's meant to be.
The whole purpose is he runs to
Paolo Gucci. Paolo Gucci is a moron. Al Pacino was great, although, man, Father Time's not being kind to him anymore. Poor Al doesn't have much long. Adam Driver was a fucking standout in that movie. Scene stealing. Lady Gaga, ooh, not good. And by the way, I thought she was fantastic in A Star Is Born. Amazing. Like, I'm a Lady Gaga fan.
I still need to see that film.
I'll be honest, I am a Lady Gaga fan musically, and I like what she does on screen. Here, it was the worst case of overacting. Like, no disrespect if anyone in the chat is Italian, but I feel like someone just went up to her and said, I need you to embrace your inner Italian grandmother and be over the top about everything. Ay, la mamma mia, what the she you doing? It's my company too. It's like, reel it in a little bit.
But I don't even want to get into this because it could be just. But she is of like Italian American descendants, isn't she? From what I know.
I believe so.
Yeah, you should be able to use the source material a bit more to the figure. You can't, as you said, like
she used it, but I think
she
every scene she was in, I was like, oh my god, please stop overacting, I beg you. Anyway, that was my thoughts on that. Ridley Scott, shut the fuck up. Marvel, there's nothing wrong with enjoying Marvel movies, and you shouldn't blame cinema goers for not seeing your movie.
Or Facebook, was it?
Face, shut up. Fucking old man Ridley. Anyway, yeah, that was my number 10, The Last Duel. There were a few comments that came in. Frank Torres says House of Gucci was supposed to dominate, but it's kind of a disappointment in this point, right? Oh yeah, big time. Chris Trengrove says Leto genuinely deserves an Oscar nom for Paolo. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, Chris, but if you're not and you're agreeing with me, like, yeah, Leto was on.
I actually think he's being serious. Just in the way I'm reading it, I believe he's being serious.
Yeah, like Leto was really on point. Anyway, my number 9, starring an actor who I've never been really a fan of until now, Daniel Kaluuya in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay, I've not seen it, to be honest, but
story of the Black Panthers.
Yeah, I can tell by the poster. Kaluuya's he's an interesting one for me. I think I give him not the pass, but I'm quite happy to see the young Brits doing
most definitely,
if you would. Yeah.
Most definitely. But all the movies that people rave about with him, he was amazing in Black Panther. He really wasn't.
I mean, just the character's not going to be anything.
That movie, what was it? Get Out. So good. I'm like, no.
No. Like for all intents, for anyone who wants to break, that film was shit.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Shit. Like, no. That film is terrible.
Yes, it really is. I'm not a black person. If I show up to that environment, I'm literally following the title and getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Bro, like, I don't want to get into the stereotypical parts, but like, there are certain, sometimes you have to play the role, don't get me wrong, but it's just that director's not for me. I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, just
no. I'm with you on that. Yeah. I will support you on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah. What I really liked about it is that, unlike what you've made Don't Look Up sound like, which is they're just bashing you over the head with an agenda, although it's really good that in a post Black Lives Matter world, movies like this is still being made and being well received. This movie trod the line, I think, very, very nicely. And it didn't shy away. Let me rephrase that. It had the balls to show that the Black Panthers were not blameless. Like, they did some shit that, you know, we now complaining about people sellotaping themselves to trains with, you know, the Earth Loving Society, whatever they're called, right? These guys did some shit, the Black Panthers. Like, and the movie doesn't shy away from showing that side of them, but it does bring things very, very firmly into contrast. It says, yeah, for every bit, so they did some shit, but for like every one bullet they fired, they had like 30 flying in their direction from the police, right? And what's interesting is that it happens in a post Malcolm X and a post Martin Luther King killings world. So the Black Panthers are. That's what's interesting about it. It's not just another MLK movie or just another Malcolm X movie. It's after that. And it's kind of like, how are we going to bring all of these different clans together? And Daniel Kaluuya is the amazing orator who manages to bring them all together. Shit doesn't go well, as you know, if you know your history. And they get it. Do you know what it's like? It's kind of like the anti-Black Klansman.
Okay.
Because the betrayal happens from within and someone they have a mole inside, essentially, and that's why they fail. All the true story. But yeah, really moving film. Really, really one I recommend.
Yeah, that needs to be seen. That does need to be seen.
It's a goodie. So that was my number 9. My number 8, bro, I finished watching just a few hours ago. You know I'm a sucker for Wes Anderson, and his movie this year blew me away. The French Dispatch. Oh,
I heard about this.
This fucking man, he's done it again. Like, listen, if you follow me on Instagram at Nico Lurot, you'll know that one of my 3 jobs outside of this, I'm a videographer, I'm a video editor, and I'm also a photographer. I admire like things which are very kind of break the mold of cinema. Like I mentioned, you know, when I mentioned Chulubesky, the way he shot The Revenant, and you were like, okay, fucking hell, right? Shit like that captures me. The way Deakins shot Blade Runner 2049. The way that Wes Anderson has done this film is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's kind of like Tarantino-esque in its inception because it's very much got chapters to it, and the 3 chapters do not seem interconnected at all until they bring it full circle, right? But it's a story about a French newspaper whose editor has just died from a sudden heart attack. This is all opening 5-minute stuff, I'm telling you. Editor's just died from a heart attack, and his final wish is for his obituary to be published in the last ever edition of the paper, and that's the end of the paper. The obituary will be published along with a number of other stories. And what you see in these different chapters are these other stories that are going to be published. So you've got Benicio del Toro and Lea Seydoux in a prison cell, and she's like a prison guard and he's like the psychopathic like murderer, but they form this weird bond whereby he paints her completely, as the French would say, à poil. So once again, a movie where Lea Seydoux gets her junk out. Respect Lea. You've got Frances McDormand and Timothy Chalamet sharing the second chapter. So there, I was just like, holy shit!
Yeah. We're talking some big names, yeah.
Oh. And then you've got like Jeffrey Wright and Almanac and Daniel Almanac in the last scene in the inspector's office. Bro, the way this film is shot, every single fucking scene is like an amazing still photograph. It's incredible.
And where is it?
Where?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Where's it set?
I think no. You've just finished watching it to like what platform?
I may not answer that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Fair enough. I thought I was the only guilty one of that, but fair enough. All good. I know where to find it. Cool.
Yeah. Is French Dispatch on Apple TV? Yes, it is. You may have to pay for it though, Gavin. But do you know what? In hindsight, I would pay for this film. It's fucking sensational. Dan the Tech agrees. Beautiful though. Ad ratio 1:77. Not sure what that is, but And Pedro Sancho says Wes Anderson is like a younger Tim Burton making the same movie again and again. Oh, Pedro, you are harsh, my friend. Pedro, mon ami. Ay, ay, ay.
That was quite funny after you were like, I really appreciate what he does. Yeah, you're just watching the same film, just in a different tone.
I'm sorry, I do not believe that the Darjeeling Limited and the Grand Budapest Hotel are the same movie. Or The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and The French Dispatch. No, sorry. No. Or Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's like nothing I've ever seen.
Go as far off the beaten track as possible. Fantastic.
Shit, man. Isle of Dogs. That's a great film. An odyssey about a boy and his dog. Right, AJ, that was my bottom 3. Over to you.
Right, okay. In at number 7 was one of the blockbusters, one that I didn't think I was going to enjoy as much as I did, which is kind of a recurring trend, actually. But anyway, enough wasting time. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Didn't fucking see this and I'm really fucking angry.
Bro, so do you remember when we done Kiddie Horrors, which was in honor of this film? At the time, I had rewatched number 1. I was like, I get it, but I think I enjoyed the animation more. Like, I had all these weird feelings behind it. This was really weird because one thing I've always hated, like when you do remakes, reboots, or continuations, is when they start to bring like kids into it, and you're like, "Are we really going this way?"
Right.
And like, what's going to happen?
I mean, they brought in Finn Wolfhard, you know, and Grace McKenna. These are two child prodigies, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. But it was just still like, you think, where are we going with this? I mean, Grace McKenna has, since I've seen her in Gifted, everything else.
She's so fucking good, isn't she?
She's absolute talent. Absolute. Yeah. There was something else I saw her in this year, and I was like, this kid could just do no wrong. She's just amazing, man.
She is amazing. I get a Dakota Fanning vibe off her when Dakota Fanning was young.
Do you know what I don't want to diss Dakota Fanning for where she is at the moment. I think Grace McKenna is going to go further. I think this can actually grow into adult star. I have a feeling. I could be wrong.
So more Elle Fanning.
Yeah.
Well, Elle Fanning's very much an adult star.
Yeah. Sorry, but you know, like Dakota was everywhere, wasn't it? And then it was, but yeah, I think
Gavin Mann approves of your message, AJ. Well done, AJ. It was a soft reboot, but still enjoyable.
It was a soft reboot, and do you know what it is? Is that they made it their own while still honoring the past. And when it came to their true honor and their love letter, they handled it really well. You know, there's a hint of Casper. I'll put it that way to it, but like it works. It really gives you something that you were like, okay. And it's this weird thing about, it's a disconnection of family, because it's essentially Egon's grandkids who are moving to this out of town place where he lived. And
Paul Rudd's his kid, right?
No, Paul Rudd is a summer school teacher who just happens to pay attention to weird scientific stuff.
Oh, okay. So I thought like Paul Rudd was the kid and like McKenna.
No. So it's Egon's daughter, but what you realize is she is disconnected from Egon. Go on, something's made you laugh.
Both for the Hobbit just made me laugh. Dakota Fanning is the Danny DeVito of the Fanning family. That's quite good.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. But yeah, so it's Egon's daughter, but she has a disconnected, distant relationship with him. Like, she doesn't acknowledge who he was. What's weird about this film that kind of troubled me is when you set yourself in this world of Ghostbusters, right? If it was the female take, we're still not sure about ghosts. That's something. But we've had 2 films where the Ghostbusters have clearly eliminated ghosts. So when you have to start questioning, oh, could it be ghosts? And it's like, oh, but that happened in the 80s. It's like, well, it's not totally impossible to believe that there are ghosts again. Like, do you get where I'm going with this? It's like, why is it questionable? But hey, it is what it is. So it was like, oh yeah, like my dad was the guy from this, and like she disconnects herself from the family. And it's this whole embrace that shows, I don't want to give into spoilers, but everything isn't what it initially seemed. Don't pay attention to what the wider world said about your daddy, if you would. And it was nice though. It's a nice film, and it was refreshing. It was a different kind of Ghostbusters. It wasn't as like trying to be comedic, but I really enjoyed what I saw there. It obviously has its comedic moments, but it was a nice film.
Is Slimer in it?
Yes.
Oh, and I see that. That's a sell. That's a sell right there, my friend.
Yeah, you'll actually enjoy Slimer in this one, to be honest. You'll actually enjoy Slimer in it. But, you know, it's really funny because I was thinking of this as well. It's weird that in the cartoon, you watch the cartoons, right, as a kid?
On and off.
Okay. Slimer is like a real Ghostbuster buddy in the cartoons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I look back at the film, I'm like, Slimer always just pops up and annoys the fuck out of him. It was like so weird that they're always chasing the Slimer. But yeah, no, Slimer's in there. And Slimer actually does some good shit in there. So yeah, if you enjoy Slimer, you'll enjoy this.
I want to ask other questions because I don't know when I'll get a chance to see this, but I also don't want to spoil it. Is Zool back?
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things that I can either let people down or excite people at the thought of it. And I don't know, some people might want to be like, I prefer not to know. So
fair enough. So actually, I want to address this quickly. Then the text says, what about the female Ghostbusters? Ha ha ha. So
I have no beef with that film.
Thank you.
And it's
AJ
funny
and
that,
I share this.
It's funny how we bring this up because, I mean, it's weird. How can I say this? You've heard about the beef that's going on at the moment where the all-female film isn't included in the box set. Now,
I was about to say, you know who does have a beef with this film? Sony.
So, do you know why I kind of agree, even though I have no beef with the film?
Because it's not part of the story.
It's exactly that. That's exactly it. It's not canon.
Like, you've literally got Bill Murray in there playing a ghost denier. That couldn't be further from who he is in the Ghostbusters.
Everyone plays a cameo, but they're not who they were. So if you're not going to get that, then you're
Ernie
not part of this trilogy.
Limo driver.
Yeah, like this trilogy that you're going to get honors is one ongoing story. The other one is a different universe. I can't. So I have no beef with it. But if you're going to, no, it's not like we're saying.
I just want to say, Paul Feig is a very stupid man for making that public on Twitter, because all that's going to do is draw negative attention to him, and all the people who hate on Ghostbusters, of which there are many, are just going to come out and go, of course it's not included. Your movie sucks.
Again,
it's just going to bring up the negativity again. I think it was so badly calculated on his part, but not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah, I think he's still trying to defend this situation. That's like, bro, like, as you said, you're just bringing up the negativity again, and it's like, and
look,
I think
porn.
This claim.
Sorry, I have to block some porn that's coming.
Oh, okay. We're doing quite good with this.
Porn has been blocked.
Two hot studs like ourselves. They just want to just keep throwing all the poontang. But hey, what can we do? But yeah, it's just ridiculous. I just find it. You know, it's not like saying, oh, how dare they not put Ocean's 8 in the Ocean's box set? No, she plays Danny's sister in that. That has a right to be in there. Right. This one is a complete different universe. Like, yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I agree.
Why is Batman Forever not in the Dark Knight trilogy? Because it's two freaking different stories.
Oh, by the way, how fucking good was that new Batman trailer? Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, how good was that trailer?
So I'm just gonna say one thing, and I'm gonna agree with Dan. Like, not that DC have a problem with overspoiling. I get to a point with trailers that I'm like, that's enough. And that was enough for me. That was enough for me. I'm not gonna watch anymore. It's awesome. I have no beef. I'm fully at that point of, let's just see what it's going to be. I need to see the whole film before I cast real judgment. But the trailers have not disappointed me at all. That's the way I put it.
Bro, how good does Pattinson look as Batman?
I have no beef with it, bro. I keep saying it each time. And I know I say this, but I just like, yeah. I think he's actually going to wow people.
Of course he is.
I think,
but it fucking takes him playing Batman for people to finally realize that he's a hell of an actor.
He's good. Hey, it's my most anticipated film for next year because it's Batman, and I don't have any fears about what he can deliver.
I'm just so excited for it. Dan has a very good point, though. The Matrix trailer was great. It was. That Matrix Resurrections trailer was fantastic. There's no denying that.
Have you seen The Matrix?
Oh, I refuse. Based on feedback I've heard, I refuse.
So I'm. There was a point where I lost. I think I was slightly moved out. It shouldn't be a case, but it happened.
You know the premise, right? You've heard what Mr. Anderson is now, right?
Bro, I've heard it all. I've watched the film. This is what I'm saying.
Sorry,
My
video game developer for Warner Brothers. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me with that.
I was
Come
actually
on.
laughing. I was
Stop
actually
it.
laughing at it at first because what they're doing is, you see, the problem with this film is that they're trying to reboot while still trying to be fresh and continuing. So it's like you're showing me different parts. Like, had you not seen any other Matrix, you know, a film, as much as you can rely on continuity, be your own film. I've never seen a film rely so much on the previous film as much as this. It was like every moment is a flashback.
See, you're not a South Park fan, and this is where they did an episode. Everyone who watches South Park here will agree with what I'm saying. It sounds like Memberberry Pie. Hey, remember the Matrix? Remember Neo? Remember how good Matrix Bullet Time? Remember? It's like it sounds like fucking Memberberry Pie. It's like, hey, remember how good this used to be?
But you know what? They acknowledge that, so maybe they did take it from that, right? And this is the thing: is that it was fun nostalgia at the beginning, and I liked the way they played it. So if you want to talk about that whole part of it's the parent company Warner Brothers who's asked us to do this, like it's in the beginning, guys. So I'm not hitting spoiler territory. I liked it, but then what they tried to do, I had a laugh at it. But what they then tried to do, right, was take stuff too deep in the geek world. Now, I'm not knocking the Wachowskis in any way, shape, or form. They stole the material before. Like it's a known fact that the origins of the Matrix was taken from somewhere. Now, what they are doing here, or what she is doing here at this current point, because it's only one, is rebooting and trying to develop this story. Now, one thing I will say, and I've always stuck to it, 2 and 3 sucked. They got progressively worse.
I
And
find some redeeming things in
Bro,
2, but I acknowledge it's not a good film.
You can have fun in 2, but none of them were ever the Matrix.
God, no.
I was having this discussion with my dad, who was a major Matrix fan, like number one. But it's like the films went progressively worse. It's like when I talk about Terminator, you go 1, you go 2, then you just drop. You know that's
you get a slight increase with Dark Fate.
Yeah, but you know, by that time you're still in like Kelvin ratios for temperature because everything else was
Jenny Smith.
Exactly that is the absolute minus 273. That was ridiculously crap. So then by the time you're going back up, and this is the thing, is that they tried to do something, then they tried to get too smart, and I was just watching it at a time where I'm like, I don't have time for this. And then you're telling me some other stuff. And
so they got philosophical, like at the end of the Matrix 3. Pass. No,
they did, but then they tried to get too technological as well. And this is where it was like, and by the end, you're like, you're just cheesy now. And that's where the problem was. I don't think it's as bad as people have said, because some people like refuse to watch it. But it's not great. It's average. It's not good. It's average. It's watchable.
It's a 4.
Yeah, 4.5, 5.
Please never show me that. Sorry, that's my wife just off screen, guys. We have just installed baby monitors in the bedroom so we can try and attempt to get some sleep. And I've just been shown what the baby monitor's picture looks like on our phone. It looks like something from out of Paranormal Activity. That's creepy as fuck. Thanks for making my daughter scary.
It will do, my friend. That's what the nightlights look like. Get a Ring doorbell. You get used to it.
So that was your 7 and 6, yes?
Where was I? Yes, 7. No, 7. We talked Ghostbusters, 6. Then we talked Matrix. Matrix wasn't my film. I was just we talked Batman. Yeah. Right, number 6. I didn't want to do 2 comic book movies, but I had to because I actually rewatched this again yesterday because some family members hadn't seen it. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
No.
You didn't like it?
Meh. The biggest pile of meh.
Bro, I thought that as well. And then I started to just embrace, do you know what? More than anything, the action. It's one of the most action that most of these MCU films have delivered. Then it starts to get too stupid for me. When the fantasy kicks
I think the visual imagery of the fucking dragon at the end was cool. Yeah.
Right, it's nice. It's nice, but the fantasy killed the film for me, as far as I'm concerned. And I do also have this issue. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's on Disney Plus, so it's not like major spoiler territory. I just felt that
the name of the fucking monster at the end. Why am I blanking?
What, Fing Fang Fu?
Thank you.
Did they actually name his name? But do you know
But
what
it was
also
Sping
bugged
Fang
me?
Foom.
Yeah. Do you know what also bugged me? The fact that the first Asian, and I say that in the Oriental form of Asian film that they, centered focus film, the first thing they do is add Wong. Like, it feels so wrong. Like, it bugs the hell out of me. Like, why was that there? And then what else did they had to do? They had to throw in the karaoke. Like, it feels like, as much as it's doing something to develop and expose the Far East, it also feels like you're being offensive. Like, it's like if you'd said Black Panther's gonna light one up. Like, well, black.
I see where you're going.
But do you get what I'm going with? It's like, okay, I get it, and that is part of their
Wakanda
culture.
forever, man.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, Killmonger, yo, hold on. But it just feels like,
Bro, I'll be real. For me, there was only one decent Marvel movie made this year, and it wasn't made by Marvel.
I've said that. I stick to that.
Shang-Chi, no way would make my top 10.
I think I'm being generous because I've rewatched it. And to be fair, there was another film that was in there. And I think Shang-Chi, because of what it delivered, I'll be honest, the other film that nearly made it into my list, but it would have been at number 10, was Free Guy. And in my head, as much as I had fun with Free Guy, it didn't sound right to say it's one of the top 10 movies of the year.
No.
That's what bugged me.
No.
I had a lot of fun with Free Guy. It would have been a sympathy vote. And I thought Shang-Chi, for the diversity, it was way better than Eternal. Black Widow I watched again and I actually enjoyed it a bit more, but I appreciated the action for it and the development of a character, the comedy we had with a certain character. As I said, I don't want to spoil it, but the redemption from Iron Man 3, there were certain bits in it that was like, all right, you've gained something, but it wasn't the most blow away film that I had, but it has some very good qualities. It had a good comedic side, it had a good action part to it. The fantasy's good, but I just felt
Tony
like
Leung was great. Tony Leung was fucking great in it.
Yeah. No, it's got a lot of redeeming factors, but it just didn't feel mega exciting to me. That's the problem I had with this film. But I appreciate it for what it was.
It was like Monday Night Raw. It was just there.
Maybe
you had some good stuff. You had some bad stuff. Am I going to remember you? Are you going to? Are you so bad that I'm going to diss you the way I'm going to diss Thor: The Dark World? Absolute, or Hawkeye? Absolutely not. Are you as good that I'm going to talk about you for years, like the Winter Soldier, like Guardians of the Galaxy, like the original Avengers? Hell no.
No, it's not that. This is what I'm saying.
You have been banished to the bin of meh.
It's middle ground. It's a very middle ground film, hence why it's middle ground in my rankings. Like it wasn't going to make top 5. It couldn't. But no, it was. Especially rewatching it, I thought you do have redeeming qualities. I just feel like it's the comedy, the Far East, the mythicism, like just throw it all in together, and it became a film that just didn't focus enough on one to really enjoy it. As
Frank Torres says, like Shang-Chi, thought Eternals was mad. Haven't got around to watching the Eternals yet. Full disclosure on that one.
So Eternals, bro, just give it 2
Disney
weeks.
Plus.
Yeah, I was going to say, just give it 2 weeks. It must be on Disney Plus sooner than later. But it is like honestly, that also helps boost Shang-Chi, because I remember watching Shang-Chi thinking, then I saw Eternals. I was like, oh god, nah.
Oh really?
Yeah. And as I always said, the problem with this one was, imagine if your enemies were the aliens that Loki brought to New York. That's what we're being advertised as your big enemy, the big bad in the film.
I can do this all day.
Do you know what?
That series is so shit. I'm sorry.
No. It's digestible media, bro. It's the way it. I appreciate the way you digest media, so I can see why it will be shit to you. But it's just a lighter, approachable show. It's very.
It's a fucking Walmart bargain bin show, bro.
But the thing that bugged me with this, I could do this all day, was the end credit, and I really was watching to hope something else happened at the end, and it was just
that's Kevin Feige acknowledging, saying, "I got nothing. It's Hawkeye. I got nothing."
Happy holidays. It was happy holidays, but hey, yeah. What can I do?
Apparently, Dan the Tech says Eternals is coming 12th of January on Disney Plus. Cool. I'll be watching that. Eternals, by the way, is the only MCU movie I've ever not caught at the cinema. I fucked it. Ruined my record. Chris Trengrove said Shang-Chi was not good and definitely worse than M4. M4. What am I blanking? Chris, help me here. What's M4? Pedro Sancto says Pattinson in the Rover, so good. Oh my God. Thank you, Pedro. Speaking my language here. Pattinson in the Rover, so good. Dan the Tech says Shang-Chi is in my top 5. Chris Trengrove agrees Tony Leung is the man. And that was AJ's number 6, yes?
Yeah, over to you. But I'm still trying to think what M4 was.
All right, AJ, for my number 7 and my number 6, I'm making it international.
Bro, well done. That's the one thing I wish I could have done.
I wish Mixed Memorabilia was here, because this isn't one recommended by Mixed Memorabilia. It just happens to be, because Mixed Memorabilia loves their Indian movies, right?
Yeah.
So this came by complete chance, because so here's the backstory. I was looking at my top 10 list about 3-4 months ago, and I was like, yo, 2021's not been a good year for film. I need to track some shit down. I really need to find some stuff. And I literally just went onto Amazon and I typed 2021 movies. And this brilliant movie that has made it onto my number 7 spot, and it is called Sapata Parambarai. It is an Indian boxing movie. It is fucking brilliant. Like, it's not, don't expect it's not fucking Rocky, right? But what it does do is that it shows the various warring clans of Madras, and it shows the after effects of the British Empire and how boxing was left over by the British, but very much absorbed by the Indians. It shows the inner workings within a Indian boxing camp and how everyone's playing politics to vie to be the top guy. It shows how the top guys are fighting with each other and how there's this immense village pride and immense tribal pride. It shows what happens, and I've seen this with my own eyes from being in that world. It shows what happens when the top guy falls from grace and turns to a life of crime and turns to drinking and turns to drugs and then tries to find his feet again. I was like, this is a fucking movie, man. Like, this is all sorts of good.
Do you know what? It sounds amazing. Do you know what kind of came to my head when I heard part of what you were saying about the fall of the British Empire? Did you get any remembrance of, did it tick any boxes of reminding you of The Boxer at all?
No. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Cool.
Bro, it's weird. It's not like a boxing movie I've ever seen. And that's kind of why I was like,
it's awesome.
It is awesome, because boxing movies ultimately, as with most sports movies, is you're always going to be kind of resigned to one of two endings. Hero wins, feel good. Hero loses, bittersweet. This is the only way it can go. This kind of threw something different into the mix. It did deliver one of those two different endings.
Well, essentially, you have to in a way.
It can't do anything other than that.
Yeah.
But the build up to it was like, okay, not seen something like this before. This I like a lot. A lot. Sapata Parambarai available for free on Amazon Prime.
How long's the film, out of interest?
3 hours.
I had a feeling, but it doesn't really feel enjoyable. Again, going back to film last year. Pink. I can't remember how long Pink was, but freaking awesome film, man. Like, in Indian cinema is actually something to really.
But it's on point. It is on point. It is absolutely on point. And going from one very, very long international movie to another very, very long international movie. My number 6, spoiler alert, it's Chris Trengrove's favorite movie of the year. It made my number 6. Chris, I'm sorry. Drive My Car. Really, really, really incredible film. Won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, so, it's got some pedigree to it. Fuck, how would you describe this film, Drive My Car? So, here's the thing that threw me completely off. The whole intro, not the first act, the intro that you get in the movie normally, just the little thing that happens and then the opening credits roll. 40 minutes before the opening credits rolled. When the opening credits rolled, I actually thought, is it the end of the movie? I want more. Thank God I got more. But I was like, Yo, 40 minutes into this bad boy. But the movie is fucking incredible. Dig this, because I guarantee this is like nothing you've ever heard. So, it's story of an actor, a TV actor, initially a TV actor, and his wife who becomes a script writer. She cheats on him, right? But such is his love and devotion for her, he walks in on it, but he doesn't sort of say, ha, gotcha. You know, he kind of leaves and kind of makes it like it never happened. And he continues his relationship with her. This is all opening stuff, by the way. I'm not spoiling anything. She dies of a brain hemorrhage, right? So he's having to, and then the opening credits roll, and then we cut to 2 years later. And this is where the movie gets interesting. It takes its fucking time to get there, but 2 years later, he's now become a director, and he's been tasked with directing an experimental stage play of Chekhov's Uncle Vanya. And the way it's experimental is that nearly every single character will be speaking in a different language as they interact with each other. Okay? So that's what he's tasked with doing. Now, if you haven't read Uncle Vanya or ever seen Uncle Vanya, you'll know that the character of Uncle Vanya has some quite similar parallels to what our main character has gone through in his life. Now, here's the fascinating thing. Where the play is being produced is in Hiroshima, okay? And in Hiroshima, they have a law which is artists are not allowed to drive. Weird law, but artists are not allowed to drive. So they have a driver called Watari the main character is called Kafuku. So they have a driver, young 23-year-old girl called Watari, drive him around. And by being in close proximity to him, they both, because she's been through some shit too. And ironically, him and his missus, who died from a brain hemorrhage, they lost the daughter to pneumonia when she was 4, and she would have been about the same age as his driver, Watari. So you see where we're going with this, right? And what you have is some of the most calm, unpretentious, unemotional, unover-the-top, dramatic character acting that I have seen for many, many, many years. And it's so beautifully and calmly told. The story of two people with two very different stories dealing with absolute unrelenting guilt, depression, and PTSD while trying to sustain their livelihoods and coming together, not sexually, not lustfully, not romantically, but just as two human beings going through a similar turmoil. It doesn't beat you over the head. Nothing's over the top. It's calm. It's poised. And it is fucking sensational.
Am I right in saying the spiritual successor to Lost in Translation?
It's so funny you say that, because I got major Lost in Translation vibes from it. I would argue this is better.
Well, I was a spiritual successor. I wouldn't say which one tops it, but okay. Interesting. Cool.
Oh, Chris Trangrove says, great synopsis of the film. Chris, thank you. I'll take that, considering it's your favorite film. I'll take that all day.
Nice. Nice.
Francis Lalonde says, I think you've talked me into picking up a copy of Drive My Car. But guys, if there is anything you can take away from this top 10, granted, AJ and I are mostly going to be talking about movies which you've all seen. I've seen on Twitter, for most part, you guys see movies that AJ and I, for most of the time, haven't even heard of. But if anyone has not seen Drive My Car, it's 3 hours. It's slow. It's purposefully slow. It's slow in a good way. Give it the time it deserves. Don't sort of like watch 20 minutes on the way to work, then to it. No. Sit down, 3 hours, one hit, absorb this film.
I'm just trying to figure out when I'll have, the time to do that, but it's caught my attention.
It's good.
Caught my attention. Yeah, and I get that when you say that. There are some films that are slow, but it's slow with purpose, I like to call it. Excuse me. It has a reason for its slowness. It builds, it develops, it expands throughout its timing. So, yeah, I'm down with that. That's cool. So that was
Chris Trangrove confirms, guys. Everyone has to see this. It's a masterpiece. It really is. It really, really is.
I don't know how this happens. On Twitter, they always disagree. Here on the YouTube world, they tend to agree. It's the second time I've seen these two agree. I love it.
AJ, you're number 5, please.
Right, in at number 5. Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, I'm so angry I didn't get to see this one.
I think it's on Amazon. I think I've seen this on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Like, check it right now. I'm pretty sure it's there. Free of charge as well. So while Nico's searching for Last Night in Soho, it's an actually really interesting film that caught my eye.
It's paid.
Is it? Okay, my bad. Yeah, I was lucky enough to catch it in the cinema, actually. Yeah, it was one of those trailers. Like I always say this. One thing I hate about going to the cinema is the adverts, but I even try to avoid the trailers at times. I just prefer to just get in there, know the film's about to start. This one I made it in time, and I saw it, and I was like, this is why you look out for trailers. This looks interesting, and you know me already. I don't do horror.
No, you do not.
This was an interesting horror. Come here.
Is this a horror?
More thriller, but it tries to get a bit horror at the end because it essentially what happens is you've got this character who's coming over. I think she Welsh. She comes over from country, like the countryside. She's out of London. You know, she's living somewhere well out of London. Comes down to study fashion, but she's very much into the 60s culture. You know, her dress sense, the music she listens to, it's that. And she starts to get that. It's all what you're seeing in the trailer. These visions and this connection. Now, what's really weird about the film is when you first watch it, you start to believe that she is living the life of that person. That's the way the trailer makes it appear. And at times it starts off that way. Then they start to kind of separate. So then it becomes apparitions and visions. And then it's this what you're leading to believe leads to the murder of this person that she's vicariously living through and seeing. And she's piecing together to try and solve this crime. It takes a bit of a twist and a turn on that, which I don't really want to get into before you get into a spoiler territory. The twist didn't bother me. The ending did, though. It just started to get to a point where I was like, this is why these films just never tick to me. But in terms of the journey...
It's Edgar Wright, isn't it?
I believe it is.
Right, you ready for me to break the internet?
Okay, you're not a fan.
Not a fan of Edgar Wright.
Bro, having looked at this film, the journey was something that was quite interesting. They got to a point where I started, it's that thing when someone starts to have the flashbacks of a life that was not theirs and decades before they were even born. It comes into the I'm not crazy territory versus, but we all know they're not because you're watching it, but to the rest of it, and that starts to repeat, and that can get a bit frustrating, even to a point I kind of felt like, can we get on with it? But it flowed well enough for me. I found there was this side character that was just so on the nose of the best friend who was always going to believe her despite how crazy she looks. But it was a good film, despite what I felt was a fluffed ending, personally. Okay. Some people will enjoy it, but I just felt like, oh, you really went there, did you? And I can deal with... There's a line where you will lose me in fantasy, or... I'm the overarching fantasy, whichever you want to call it, horror, what have you. It just got to this point where I was like, oh, piss off. That was the ending for me. But I think in the build-up, I found it really good and exciting. I did enjoy it. So you may not consume media the way I do, so you might appreciate the ending more than I did, especially for those who enjoy horror. But I just felt like, oh, here we go again. But very good film.
This is interesting because Pedro Sancto says, Nico, I didn't like Baby Driver, but last night was enjoyable. See, AJ and I are with you on that, Pedro. We walked out of Baby Driver thinking whatever.
It was so whatever for all the... And do you know what bugs me about that to this day? The amount of people are like, oh, Baby Driver was amazing. And I'm like...
So you do realize the plot doesn't make sense, right?
None of it makes sense. I just like, what did you enjoy about Baby Driver? Please tell me what you enjoyed. It just...
Oh, the driving was well edited to the music. It's like, okay.
Wow. There's a plot line for you. Just play GTA and there you go. Some driving going well to the music. Like, what the hell? Yeah.
Frank, it's not even Scott Pilgrim. Okay, Frank, to your credit, Scott Pilgrim is Listen, I'm not gonna rush to my sofa and flip on my big TV and go and actively search for Scott Pilgrim probably anytime soon. But of all the Edgar Wright movies, that would be the one I dislike the least. That is actually the way of putting it. I do not like the man's movies. He's one of those directors I do not understand the universal praise he gets. I think his movies are so predictable and like it's like he's trying to be a non-edgy Tarantino. That's the vibe I get from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same way, like you look at Tarantino, you look at something like From Dusk Till Dawn. It's like, yeah, and I know Tarantino didn't direct it; he wrote it. Bite me. But you know the way it's like, okay, we're a gangster movie, and all of a sudden we're a fucking vampire movie. You know, it's like what was that first stupid ice cream bullshit Cornetto trilogy called? Hot Fuzz. It's like, oh yes, we're going to be a comedy with what's his face, but we're going to be like a gritty cop movie with a cult. It's like, okay.
Yeah. You know me and the Cornettos anyway. So
every time I see an Edgar Wright movie, I just have that image from South Park. Again, you won't get this reference. Basically, South Park became self-referential about ripping off The Simpsons at one point, and they had an episode which was actually entitled "Simpsons Did It." And every time they were trying to pitch a new idea for an episode, I think it was, who was it? Was it Scott Malcolmson? Doesn't matter. One of the side characters from South Park was just sort of in the background whispering in Buddy's ear, "Simpsons did it." Every time I see Edgar Wright movie, I'm just like, someone else has done this before. This is a movie I have seen before. There is nothing new here. Scott Pilgrim possibly being the exception, but it's based off of a graphic novel.
It's enjoyable. I won't say don't watch it, but especially now I'm leaning towards Baby Driver. I think you might have the same take as me near the end. But then I don't know. As I said, because you kind of fuck with horror slightly more than I do, you might be like, it's not terrible, but don't expect to be blown away by it.
Chris Trengrove says it's a bad rip-off of Giallo. Awful twist.
Thank you. Like, I haven't seen Giallo, but awful twist. I really dislike the ending.
We're getting very, very, very mixed comments here. Like, I'm actually kind of refreshed to see that people are kind of split on Edgar Wright, because I was anticipating, as I said, breaking the internet here. Because I was under the impression that there was just fucking universal love for Edgar Wright. Den the Tech Cook 45 likes him. Few other people like him, but yeah, Francis Lond, I liked Hot Fuzz, but it was mainly the horror shout outs. You know,
he doesn't blow me away. He doesn't blow me away. If I have to be very honest, he's not going to blow me away.
I mean, to his credit, though, I actually did want to see last night in Soho. I'll check it out at some point. So that was your number 5, yeah?
That was my number 5. Over to you, sir.
Right, as you said, I like to fuck with horror. My number 5, Chris Trengrove, I'm really sorry. It's not Malignant. That didn't quite make the list, although I really liked it, as I said at the top of the show. My number 5, part 2 of A Quiet Place.
So, bro, it's because I still need to see number 1 that I just didn't get around to seeing number 2.
I love these films. I fucking love what John Krasinski has done with these films. I think it is sound. It just reinforces how important sound is to the cinema experience. And it reinforces how much when you're hearing no sound in the cinema and you've got the audience eating out of your hand, and the audience, you're not hearing a popcorn bag rustle. You're not hearing those annoying cunts who bring individually wrapped sweets in a bag to the fucking cinema. Who does that, by the way? Who fucking does that? There's pick and mix there, or there's a bag of fucking Maltesers. Why you got to bring like a bag of like
Quality Streets
or Cadbury's Eclairs or something with all individually wrapped little I hate the person in the cinema who does that. If anyone's there, we have a problem. But yeah, just get a bag of sweets. Got no beef with that. Stuff your face for all I care. I love a candy in the cinema, but like not individually wrapped ones. Annoying. Yeah, you don't have people make it. You don't have a slurp of a Coke. You have a whole audience watching this movie going, and you can hear a fucking pin drop in the auditorium. And so the same way that the movie wants you to behave, you indulge it, and your experience is therefore heightened. And it was such an amazing cinema experience. Being in a theater, which was quite full of people who clearly liked the first one, the jump scares were not predictable, which I like when horror does. You had some jump scares where it's like, and in 3, 2, 1, there it is. But there were some which caught me off guard. I just love the idea that we're living in a world where you can't make a sound. It's such a great horror concept.
The concept of the film has really caught me. Especially after we done movies featuring pregnancy and you told me what the film was about, it's like it's on the radar. It's definitely on the radar. And it's really funny because my dad asked me the other day, he's like, so have you seen The Quiet Place 2? I was like, I haven't seen number 1. He's like, this is the thing. He hasn't seen number 1 either. But it caught his attention. I was like, I referred back to the pod. I was like, it's really something that I want to delve into. And normally I'll be like, whatever. This one, it's playing on something smart. You're giving me a new twist, a new approach. It's not so much the monster, it's the concept of what attracts the monster that's and that's what I like.
Yeah, and we've got people here hearing what I say. Yeah, look, Den says great movie, thought it was 2020. Frank Torres says I thought part 2 was better than part 1. Both of the Hobbit says I was afraid to chew popcorn in A Quiet Place part 2. You see what I mean? It's like it's had its mark on people. Pedro asks, have you heard of Memoria? Sounds like quite the unique sound experience in the film. Looking forward to it. No, but thank you, Pedro. I'll add that to my list immediately. Memoria. And Frank Torres says, shame on me. I snuck Chinese food into the cinema for Gone in 60 Seconds back in 2020. Frank, it's only shame on you if you were bringing in crispy chili beef or spring rolls, because that shit makes some noise.
No, the prawn crackers, spring rolls. You
prawn crackers, they got in the fucking. Bring some Pringles in there while you're at it.
Exactly. Pack of McCoys. Just go for it.
Oh God, yeah, they're fucking noisy crisps. Jesus. So that was my 5, sir. Your 4.
Right, in at number 4, a film that you did recommend to me, Dune.
Oh, big man, that's a punt.
Okay, cool. Over to you.
My number 4. I brought this up to you back in June. I said you need to get on it. Matt Damon, better than I've seen him in years.
I just missed it. I knew, because honestly, when we talked about Matt Damon before, I was like, there was that other Matt Damon film I really want to watch, but I just didn't get around to it.
And the name is Stillwater. I love this film. I don't know why people didn't talk about it. I didn't see anyone particularly bashing it. Maybe that'll change now in the comments. Maybe some people disliked it. But, as a Frenchman, I know I don't sound it, but I am French. As a Frenchman, I know exactly what the French are like when welcoming non-French to Le Royaume. Like, you don't speak French. I will fuck you. We're going to make your life so difficult now, It's like, you would like a baguette with your breakfast? Fuck you. I bring you a pain au chocolat. Choke on it, you American pig. It's like, the French are something else. Bro, I'll never forget, like, the last summer we were at school and I went to the south of France which is where this is set, where they are particularly Vive la France. And like, my mates were making an effort. You know how an English person sounds, je voudrais un Coca-Cola s'il vous plaît. It's fucking nails on a chalkboard to a Frenchman. But most people will recognize that, okay, they're making an effort. They're trying, they're making an effort to, they're not saying, oh, mate, could I have a Coke in it? It's like, no, je voudrais un Coca-Cola s'il vous plaît. They're making a small effort to try and just be local. You know what the French were acting like? They were pretending like they hadn't heard the order. Then they got the order wrong purposefully. And it actually took me to step in. And obviously, I'm French. I can fucking speak it perfectly. I was like, c'est quoi ce délire? Vous êtes en train d'ignorer des clients, là. It's like you're actually taking the piss. You're ignoring these clients just because they're English. Like, get over it. The French are fucking something else when it comes to like, you know what it is? Just fucking English conquering the world. What was it? 100 years ago? Fucking British Empire and their very effective ships. If we had gone to the Caribbean, it would have been a different story. I just feel like, and Africa and India. I just feel like the French are bitter that they didn't conquer a third of the natural world. And they got left with like Angola. Like, no disrespect to Angola.
They've got these little dots here and there.
You know what I mean? It's like, we got Sierra Leone, Angola, and like the corner of Ghana. Like, cool. Meanwhile, Britain took South Africa and the diamond mines. It's like, right, okay. That one didn't work out so well, did it? You know what I mean? So the French are bitter. And this movie, fucking showed that. The story, really simple if you haven't seen it. Matt Damon works, he's a driller. He's an oil man. He's an oil contractor. His daughter is on like a gap year, like a trip to the south of France. She gets in prison for murder. And no one wants to tell him how the fuck this has happened. Because the exposition you get about her is that this woman is this young girl is not the type. Like, does not fit the bill of murderer. Does not fit the bill of attracting unwanted attention in any way, shape, or form. And it's like, so he goes there and tries to figure out, who did my daughter kill? Why is she in prison? How did she end up in this position? Who was she surrounding herself with? And it's fascinating to see kind of like from the outside in of how he's going to free his daughter without any help at all. Because vive la France.
Bro, I still want to see it. And I will see it. It just slipped me. It honestly slipped me. I remember like looking out for it, and time just didn't permit. But
Frank Torres says Stillwater got a cold reception on opening weekend because it was too long. I didn't think so. And because Amanda Knox did a press rush slamming the movie. Well, I didn't hear about that. That would explain it. Both for the Hobbit. Quebec is so French, they like to tighten the screws too. Fucking Quebec. Don't get me started on Quebec.
I was going to bring up the French Canadians. I was like, I'm going to leave it.
They're not French. I'm sorry. I go to fucking... I talk to a French Canadian. I don't understand them. Vous prenez la porte à gauche et vous descendez le couloir, s'il vous plaît. It's like...
That's why I was laughing, because you talked about your English friends making an effort, and I was like, yeah, like a French Canadian.
Bro, I think French, when it's spoken beautifully, not slang, and it's actually spoken, regally, I think it's a beautiful... I would say that, but I do think it's a beautiful language.
Can I say that is one of the hidden treasures of the Matrix 2, where they talk about how it just flows. It's literally just swearing. Nothing but
Dieu, putain de merde enculé de ta grand-mère, la salope, je la baisse dans l'église. It's like, wow. Yeah, you didn't subtitle that part, did you? Wow.
And that was the best bit. That's the best bit. You could only like speak French to have appreciated that. Like some people would be like, okay, whatever. If you understood exactly what he's saying, you were cracking up in the cinema. Like, what?
Big time. But he killed me, the Merovingian, in that. Persephone, nom de Dieu, what is this? What are you doing to me? You forgot to take off the lipstick from your lips, boo. Lipstick? There is no lipstick. What is this lipstick? What are you talking about, woman? Sorry, Olivier Martinez, I love. I'll defend that scene till the cows come home. But yeah, Matt Damon, Stillwater. I think it's been a criminally overlooked film. I think there's a lot of good to be had with it, and I think Matt Damon is stellar in it.
Matt Damon is just an amazing actor.
Like, he just is. He just is.
It's very rare he delivers something. I'm like, yeah, that. I kind of actually, off the top of the dome, I can't think of one where Matt Damon's let me down.
No, it's very hard. Like I'd have to do a deep dive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like just off the head, no, it's not going to happen just like that.
Your number 3?
Right, Netflix movie. Not anything else. It's Tick Tick Boom featuring
Punt.
Andrew Garfield. Cool. Okay, your number 3.
Get ready to punt, please, AJ. Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, that's a punt.
So your number 2 then?
My number 2, where are we? So I brought this up when we talked about musicals, actually, and the more I thought of it, it really did just leave a lasting impression. Not that Tick Tick Boom didn't, we will touch on that, but this one just really touched me. Dude, In the Heights, I really genuinely
So I've seen this. It is a beta, The Philadelphia Story.
Well, I've not seen The Philadelphia Story, so maybe that
You're safe then. You're safe.
That would be one of those things where you just appreciate it for what it is. But there's something about it that just resonated with me, even though I'm not South American. I have no South American bloodline or anything like that. Okay, yes, we've got the token black man in it. Who I also realized was in Kong Skull Island. But like, no, what I'm saying is that there was just something that resonated, something I could relate to in this film, and the dream chasing behind it, and the tone of the music was just something that's not from your normal. You don't get it in your regular musicals. It had a bit more spice to it, if you would. But I just really, it just left me with. We're just talking about. It's literally just people in the community with a dream, living their life. It's as simple as that, but really close knit. As I always say, the one thing that stuck to me about this film is it was a bit too nice. You know, like I don't
Mm.
actually believe that area is all hope and glory like that. But it was, we don't have to highlight the negativity all the time, you know, and that's what I just appreciated of these different South American countries and cultures just joining together, and they just look out for each other, which I do believe in. I do believe in that community spirit. I've witnessed it in my growing up in areas that I've been in, and that's what warmed me to it. I really just like that community feel to it, and just trying to just make the best of it and just giving it your damn best shot. And you know, some people, as much as they love what it's about, that community spirit, they want more, so they do leave through it. The expectation when you're making it out of the hood essentially, but it's not for you, and the stereotypes that come with making it out of there just because you're a Hispanic and your roommate's bag or something has gone missing, and the investigations behind it, and it's just like, oh, because I'm not from your part of town. There was just so much in it that I could relate to, and I suppose even if you go back to, as I always say, the world's weirdest stag, but the most lovable stag that I've been on, yours, where we just had that deep conversation of the way people stereotype you because of a look or your background and all of this. It just it just hit certain drum beats for me in a way that it lasted with me, and that's why I really enjoyed that film. Again, haven't seen Philadelphia Story, so I can't compare it, but it has a takeaway for me.
Both for the Hobbit says some say Tom Holland will host the Oscars in 2022. Both for the Hobbit, some say Tom Holland will be in every movie in 2023. Frank Torres says In the Heights was a lovely film, but this and West Side Story bombed. The genre is in danger despite our 4-hour discussion on the medium. Tick Tick Boom pushing well on Netflix might be the future. Very well, maybe. West Side Story bombing, I cannot quite wrap my head around because the reviews are glowing and it sounds like it's film of the year. I haven't seen it, which pisses me off, but it sounds like it's the shit.
If it hadn't been for the global one,
I'd be there.
In the cinema.
I'd be there, 100%.
Yeah, that's the one film that was like, it's on the radar. I may still go, but it's not going to make it 2021, essentially, on my calendar of seeing. And it's funny about that because I've seen the original West Side Story, and yes, shoot me if you wish, I did not enjoy it. But I like the way this is presented.
For everyone.
But it's weird that it's the same film. Like, again, it wasn't the story, it was just the way the story was presented. It just wound me up. And I think, again, this is what The Godfather's been guilty of, and a few other films I can't remember that. Sometimes you're over glorified. The Amazing West Side Story. And when I sat down, I was like, this, you know, Casablanca. You know, films that people are like,
Casablanca.
What's his face?
Not that good.
Citizen Kane. Again, I know you.
Hey, be careful.
Bro. The hype does not match the movie. It's a good film. It's a good film, but the hype that came behind it, I was just like, okay, what? That's the thing. Sometimes if you watch a film, you will appreciate it a lot more than the hype that surrounds the film. I think you could be disappointed. And I felt that could be what happened to me with West Side Story. Yet I'm willing to embrace this new version that's come out.
I've heard it's great, and I've heard it's Steven Spielberg back at his best. But for the Hobbit, Casablanca hype is real. AJ, do I start?
Well, you can tell him you say.
Yes, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon for the rest of his life. Yes. Chris Trengrove says Citizen Kane better than, I'm assuming, everything.
Yeah. Bro, listen, I don't have a beef with the film. I just felt for all the... It was just sometimes you just catch a film too late. I was like, okay, greatest film ever. And I'm looking for a certain tick box. And I'm like, I'm enjoying it, but why are we calling it the greatest film ever? Not that I could name the greatest film ever, but I was just like...
Well, a lot of people seem to pull for The Godfather.
Again.
Godfather 1, very good.
I nearly COVID... fuck, said it. Yeah.
Fuck.
Damn.
Oh, shit. Francis Lalonde comes in. Jane Silent Bob Strike Back better than Citizen Kane. See, Francis, you say that like it's a bad thing. Because Jane Silent Bob is fucking awesome. If you partake, woo! That's some good shit.
If Self-Isolation was 20 days, The Godfather would have been rewatched, and all three would have been watched. But
that comment says it all. The Godfather 10-hour cut is amazing. I love both of the Hobbit.
Wow, that's intense. Yeah, but yeah.
Chris Trengrove says, I think both In the Heights and Tick Tick Boom were very bad, but I like West Side Story very much.
Are we talking the new West Side Story there, Chris?
Sure.
I'm assuming that's what we're talking about.
He will be, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk Tick Tick Boom at one point, I'm guessing, because it's punted. But I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That was your number 2, yeah, In the Heights.
Yeah.
Chris Trengrove, I'm sorry, man. My number 2, Tick Tick Boom. Oh, my God, I love this movie. So, full disclaimer. Mark for Andrew Garfield. If you put Andrew Garfield, if you put his name on a
so
movie
for anyone who's not a
poster,
wrestling fan, a mark is someone who just like stands, as they say it now.
I gravitate towards his performances. When he is on screen, my life is happy. I love Andrew Garfield. I thought he stole the show in The Social Network. I thought he was robbed of an Oscar in Hacksaw Ridge. I thought he was the best Spider-Man we've ever had, and I fucking stand by that. Not the best movies, but the best Spider-Man we've had. And can you give him the Oscar now? Because, oh my fuck, is he good in this? Like, Jesus.
I really, really enjoyed this film. Now, once again, I'm going to get into it. I'm a mark for a biopic. And I was just watching the story. And again, it's the dream chasing that I think I'm resonating in. It's being in your 30s that I'm resonating with. Like, there was so much to it. And the way he actually performs the songs, the way he narrates the film.
It's sensational.
It was very hard to not be into it. Because at first I was like, oh my God, they're singing. I don't know if I'm ready for a musical. The more I watch it, I was like, oh, dude, I'm loving this. And the one that he blew me away with was the one about the guilt. I'm guilty because you're guilty about me feeling. I was like, oh my God, that was awesome. That was loved it.
Yeah. It's, I didn't realize it was a Lin-Manuel Miranda script. And, I've seen Hamilton, and Hamilton's got that kind of quick, pacey, almost bordering on the rap, right? And when he's in his apartment after the party, and you heard that quick beat, I was like, is this Lin-Manuel? It stinks of Lin-Manuel Miranda. By the way, I just wanted to go back to some previous comments here because I completely missed an opportunity to plug one of our movie fans on here today. So Francis Lalonde said a moment ago, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back better than Citizen Kane. As I said, I see the comedy in that. Gavin Mann's got me, by the way, by the bollocks here. Nico, is that Jay and Silent Bob with Will Ferrell? Will Ferrell is in it, and I enjoy that movie. So you got me. Fair play, my friend. You got me.
Gavin, he's also highlighted, I think one of his favorite scenes in, was it Austin Powers 2, was the Will Ferrell scene. So like, every now and again, as I like to say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So
you got it.
Every now and again, Will Ferrell can get a tick.
But now, in relation to Francis Lalonde saying Jared and Silent Bob Strike Back is better than Citizen Kane, something amazing happened on Twitter the other day. I mean, I think it's amazing. I'm sure Francis Lalonde thinks it's amazing, and I hope all of you agree.
Oh, yes. I did happen to catch this.
You've been checking on our Twitter, you sneaky man.
No. I don't check the poll, but every now and again, I get a notification, because obviously I still follow because we need the numbers. Everyone counts, right? So if I see what's your favorite, I ignore. When I read something like when one of your, and I'm like, what's this? It's not often, but every now and again, my eye peeks.
Yeah. That's the one. So Francis Lalonde at Ballpark Frank on Twitter has a notoriously, and I say this in a good way, Francis, fucking annoying game that they play, where they share a screenshot of a movie. It's always a famous movie, but the screenshot fucking throws you because it's not one of the, it's not like
the classic.
It's not like fucking Mac taking off his helmet in the Colosseum and it's like, well, doy, it's Gladiator. It will be something like a close up of gum in the arm. It's like, oh fuck, it's like that's in Gladiator, but not the image. Anyway, the game that Francis plays is here's the image, guess the movie, right? Annoyingly, this is one of the few times I actually might have been able to get it right. Because Francis Lalonde shared a photo of, because Mark Hamill is just fucking amazing, he decided to be in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back as a character with a lightsaber and giant fist called Cockknocker. Amazing. Francis Lawn shares an image of Cockknocker. What film? Guess who retweets it?
And pins it.
And pins it. Mark fucking Hamill himself. I just want to say, Francis, well done. Everyone go follow Ballpark Frank and just be better at the game than I am. I suck at this game. Pedro Sancto says, what were your thoughts on Under the Silver Lake? My thoughts are I need to watch it clearly because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's getting added now.
Den the Tech says, what's Tick Tick Boom about? I haven't heard of this. So Tick Tick Boom is, so Andrew Garfield plays a struggling musician. Just this typical struggling New York artist.
Playwriter.
Musical playwriter, but putting it short, it's definitely musicals he's writing.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Steven Soderbergh's coming to his rehearsals.
When we say musician, he doesn't play. Well, he does play the piano, but he's not a musician. He's a songwriter. That's his passion. Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer Den's question, yeah, it's a song about a struggling New York artist who's trying to make it big. It's the down on your luck artist story, and he's sacrificing his health, he's sacrificing his livelihood, he's sacrificing his relationship, and the whole thing is musical note after musical beat after musical beat. It is sensational. It is fucking. But it's a biopic.
It is about the guy who wrote the musical Rent. So, yeah.
And then never got to fucking see it.
I know, heartbreaker.
How tragic is that?
Yeah.
Frank Torres says, Tick Tick Boom legit won me over during its running time. I was rolling my eyes in the first 5 minutes of the movie and completely immersed in the last 5. I'm with you there, Frank.
Exactly how I was. I was just like, and it's not that. Put it this way, because I appreciate Andrew Garfield. So everything you say, I agree with. But I was like, you're too animated. You're too jumpy. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. You know, he's there playing along, and it just felt very cheesy 90s, which I appreciate. This is what the film is set in. And the more the film goes on, I was like, this is just, by the end of it, you are like, damn. And you feel it. You know, just a small, well, it's not a spoiler, the guy passed, but that small narration of he passed, and you're just looking, you're like, oh man, you're really just rooting for this character at the end of it. It's absolutely amazing.
Chris Trengrove doesn't agree.
I'm aware of this. I'm aware of this.
Tick Tick Boom is about a whiny, narcissistic, privileged, starving artist who's pissed because he's not yet sodden time. I think that's so unfair, Chris. I can't even begin to tell you.
I don't disagree. I can see where you're saying it, but in the art of chasing the dream, this is what it was. It's real life. It's like it's despite what everyone's telling you, you're just giving it your all because you believe it's your calling. Now, was he right? Was he wrong? Essentially, yeah, he was right, but then he passed before he was get a chance to prove he was right, which is really sad. But yeah, man, it's emotional. It's emotion, man. It's passion.
It is. It's hashtag totes emotion.
Yeah.
And Gavin Mann says there are many things certain to appear in a Movie Mount Rushmore episode: Will Ferrell, Revenge of the Sith, Green Mile, and Crash. Still haven't seen it, AJ.
Gavin, feel no way, dude. Like, feel no way. Yeah. But I love the way you have the tick boxes of the Movie Mount Rushmore. But we all have gaping. Well, I have gaping holes, but we all have those potholes along the way of where we've missed some bits along the way. So
correct. And sorry,
just hit us up when you've seen it. That's what I'd love to see in here.
And Pedro, just to answer you, Under the Silver Lake is with Andrew Garfield 2018. Well, that's now going straight to my wanted top list. Right on there. AJ?
We don't have to fight for it.
Your worst film of 2018.
Bro, to me, it actually wasn't difficult. Now, I know Den really hated Matrix 4, so I thought that may be it. But by the time I watched it, it wasn't that bad. I know you have a film that I've actually watched a review for because I've actually watched the film. I'm not going to talk about it yet because it may come up.
I have two worst.
But there was one categorically shit cinema experience in the time that I've reconnected with cinema.
I know exactly where you're going.
Bro, say his name 5 times. Candyman. And I know earlier I mentioned there's a director and he's there down as producer that I cannot stand. And this film, I've not seen Candyman.
Such a letdown.
I have not seen the original Candyman, right? But people talked about it throughout. This film felt like it was going somewhere and then ended. Like it gave nothing. And it got to a point where it got stupid. And it began to wind me up even more. And, we want to talk about the annoying starving artist. This film had the annoying starving artist. Oh my days, did I get pissed off with
The
this
annoying starving artist. Yeah.
it just you know where it's going with the bee, the biting of the bee and this stuff, but it just got really annoying. And this kind of happy hobo giving away candy, and it just it ground my gears to the highest degree. I was just livid by the time this film had finished. And you know what bugs me is every now and again, I'm like, again, I hate horror, but I'll give it a shot. Oh, they've remade Candyman. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here we go. This is
Do
why
you know
I don't
one thing
embrace
I
it.
will give this movie absolute credit for, though? Beautifully shot.
Yes. Yeah, I have no beef
The
with that. And
cinematography in this film was amazing.
this is the thing that bugged me. It had the qualities, but the story was just shit. It had the qualities there. The actor, who coincidentally is in The Matrix 4 as well, was he kind of caught my attention, but then he started to bug me. And it's not the makeup and
All
what
right,
he
yeah,
wore.
Abdul Mateen, right?
Yeah, and I just got to this point where I was just like, you're bugging me now. You're bugging me. This whole story is getting stupid.
Yes.
Now I get it. That again, just like Last Night in Soho, you're going to get this kind of I see things one way, the rest of the world's going to see it another, and I need to prove to the world this is what. But it's this. Where
he
is a
just went full
redeeming
Candyman at the end of it.
Yeah,
Like, come
but
on.
you know where there's a
Stupid.
redeeming quality in trying to convince the world that you're right in Tick Tick Boom. You have this contrasted. This is why you're annoying me. This is where it's getting stupid. I don't want to be watching this anymore. You know, that's what this film done to me. And I just felt like, where are we going with this? Is it going to get to the horror? And I felt it was just this whole building, and it was this building of get the Candyman, but it was just for Candyman to come and go. And I was just like, nah, it done me in. It killed me. Candyman is my worst film of 2021.
Few people have shared their worst. Pedro Sancto says worst, No Time to Die easily. Both for the Hobbit says Space Jam.
Space Jam was bad, but it wasn't worse than
Space Jam was bad. Gavin Mann says worst was Capone with Tom Hardy. Chris Changriff says, well, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things. Dude, if you give Tick Tick Boom a diss and this a pass,
back to the Twitter war.
Back to the Twitter war. Den the Texas Matrix 4 and Space Jam 2. Pedro says the original one, Candyman, is decent. The trailer for the new Candyman looked awful. Happy I avoided it. It was
Can
shit.
I say something about Space Jam 2? Space Jam 2 was not bad, but it was written for failure because the sheer fact it wasn't Michael Jordan. Like the film itself was just inherently passable.
Remember Berry Pie?
Remember? Hey, man, remember these characters? Remember Bugs Bunny? Remember?
Look, I appreciate that there's enough of a gap that the kids of this generation will appreciate it, but it's just not. I maybe because it is Michael Jordan to me, you know, that is the GOAT of basketball. Now, R.I.P. He's gone, but it
Kobe.
wouldn't have been LeBron. It would have been Kobe if I had to have gone down that route, you know. And maybe he turned it down, but it just didn't tick right. And then,
I mean,
I
you
know
know
that
LeBron's broken all of Jordan's records, right?
Bro, I don't care.
Man,
I
like
really don't.
Pele is the best footballer ever. You know, Messi and Ronaldo have outscored him in every single way. Don't care. Fuck you, Pele.
No. But look, the records are the records. But it sounds
Stats
weird.
are
It's the
fact,
market
my
ability.
friend.
Come again?
Stats are facts.
No, I know. But it's there's that icon. There is that icon. You know. Okay, so we're now going to say based on the undefeated record, Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer of all time. Like you can't record by
I
records.
would listen to
Yes,
that argument. I
you
would listen
can,
to that.
but you know, like okay, you've got greatest, but then you got most iconic, maybe. So Michael Jordan will be the most iconic basketball player. I think that's the correct wording, and that's where LeBron, as much as you may have taken every record, and I have no personal beef with it, but you're just not Jordan, and it just wasn't enough of an attraction to make Space Jam to that movie, you know. Yeah. But hey, it is what it is. Candyman.
Francis Lalonde says sometimes remaking a film 20 plus years after the fact isn't the best idea. Yep.
I agree. I knew this was going to be the case, if I'm honest. I knew it. Like, I knew where it was going. It just wasn't that. But I still believe Candyman was legitimate. Well, again, that was a 20-plus film remake as well. But yeah, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And to answer Den the Tech, no, neither of us have seen the original. Massive crime that is, because I'd love to see the original Candyman. Right.
Yeah.
I have two worst. My first, Army of the Dead. Oh my God, this piece of shit. This Zack Snyder zombie piece of shit. Now, this annoys me because I thought he had some redemption with the Snyder Cut Justice League. I actually like a lot of Zack Snyder. Like, I like 40% of his movies. Like, when he get like Man of Steel, I won't hear bad about that movie. I fucking adore that.
Hell no.
But people smash it, people bash it. I don't care. I love Man of Steel. I've got a really weird guilty spot for Sucker Punch. I appreciate that one is bad, but I've got a weird liking for it. I like a zombie movie, as you know. So when you tell me a guy who gets it right maybe 40% of the time is making a zombie movie, I'm like, well, hopefully we're doing the 40 here. Especially considering that I believe you brought it up. Mr. Snyder has got a very, very apt remake of Dawn of the Dead, which was supposed to be quite good.
I enjoyed it. Like,
Supposed to be quite good. So here we go. We've got a guy who's already been in this universe, and we've got a guy who's pretty much on the up and up and up, and Dave Bautista, and you got a zombie tiger, and you're in Vegas. Like, this sounds like, you know, my favorite expression. It sounds like pop. It sounds like cocaine bubblegum. Like all the good pops, right? Oh, it's so bad. Oh, the story didn't make sense. They decide halfway through the movie that they're actually going to abandon their MO for entering the zombie infestation in the first place. You can see exactly which characters are going to die. You can see exactly the way the movie's going to end. The way the movie is shot with its unrelenting, unnecessary slow-mo, and its really, 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 really fucking deep aperture to emphasize the expression on the characters' faces is so fucking pretentious. It's like, fuck this movie to hell. This sucks. But there's worse. Oh, there's worse.
So I think I know where you're going.
I mean,
so I know what. Okay, do it, and if I'm right in guessing where you're going, then we'll take it.
You're right, mate. Of course you're right. No Time to Die, the biggest piece of shit that's come out this year.
So I'm gonna take this slightly differently because I've taken some people's advice and they were like, AJ, please, like, watch it. Obviously, I'm not going to do a review now. The film's dead. But I remember some people came up with it, like, watch just the Daniel Craig ones and then give us your thoughts on this film. And during my isolation, I knocked out all 5 films. I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Skyfall is good, right?
Is that the one with Javier?
Yeah.
That's the one that wound me up.
No shit.
I actually really like Spectre. Spectre was the one
Spectre's fun. I had fun with Spectre.
There was elements of Skyfall that really wound me up, if I'm honest. What I found that okay, let's just
Quantum was terrible.
Which one?
Quantum was fucking awful.
Quantum gave me a giggle. I had a giggle just because he kept I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. Just the whole fact that it was, please don't kill them. We need them, and he always seemed to luck out. So I was just giggling at it. I didn't think it was a great film. I just had a giggle with that. What I found that was really annoying, but I saw it for a continuation of stories more than I have seen in any of the other Bonds. It was just, he was fighting nobodies. Like, Le Chiffre, for all of it, and the eye, is a fucking accountant, right? Yeah. Then in the other one, you're talking about some Greenpeace warrior. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but that's who he was. And I just felt like everyone was just a bit weak. And that's where Skyfall gave us a kind of somebody, but then I had, and I'm not saying it in a racist way, but I was like, okay, so we've got M's favorite pet for MI5 was non-British. Does that work? Do they recruit the officer? And it just kind of confused me, and it kind of bugged me, and I just moved on. Spectre, I was like, here we go. But this is the thing.
Hang on. Sorry. Alec Trevelyan was a Lienz Cossack.
Oh, leave me alone. Okay,
yeah, and they actually make a point of that in GoldenEye, our favorite Bond movie. That argument's dead for me, mate.
No, it just stuck out to me at the time. But his character, I couldn't resonate with his character. I think because I was like, well, Trevelyan was like
a Cossack. He was basically Russian.
No, bro, I'm not even getting down to that stuck out. But more than anything, it was the turncoat agent that bugged me, and I was like, I've seen it done better. That's how I personally felt, right? But more than any, so I got to No Time to Die, and then because I got to your point of spoiler, and I stopped. And the minute I finished the film, I was so happy that it went exactly what you wanted. And this is why I think it's unfair to call it worst, right? Essentially,
Talk to me.
essentially, it's a good film.
Yes.
However, I do believe
That, however, is the problem.
Remy Malek was annoying, and
Yes.
obviously the Sin
Underdeveloped villain.
a heap of shit. Like it should have continued with
Abandoned storyline.
Did you notice, by the way, that this plot doesn't actually make sense? Did that clock onto you? Because the whole reason Remy Malek's motivation in that movie was kill Spectre, wipe them out. That happens halfway through the movie.
Yeah, bro.
Halfway through the movie, Spectre are dust. There is no story left to tell.
No, but you know what comes next, don't you? It's this whole obsession with, again, that borders on wrong because the age difference just didn't work. It just didn't
you
work.
want to talk age difference? Let's talk the age difference between Mr. Craig and Leia Seydoux. We're bordering on the fucking.
But
pedophilia.
but what I'm talking about is we're talking about a man who, I'm not sure if he's the same age as her or younger, but was looking like a full-on adult who saved this child when she was drowning. Yet here we are, we're looking. It was stupid.
So stupid.
The Sin, and this is why I can understand the frustration. But as I said, it had length, but it has redeeming qualities. Whereas the Army of the Dead was straight shit. I haven't even finished it. It couldn't get to me. Candyman was straight shit, right? The part that bugs me, and guys, please, this is spoiler territory. I warn you now, please log off if you haven't seen it or don't know the end. The part that bugs me more than Bond dying, because I do see this as its own little capsule, the same way we've got the Dark Knight trilogy. The part that really bugged me with this, right?
Read the comment. That says it all. Yes, I mind it deeply. Deeply.
Listen. Which again, in this canon of whichever way you want to do it,
This isn't canon. This is shit.
No, bro, it's in its own capsule. This is what I'm getting at. That whole 5-film series. What? I can't hear you. You've actually gone muted there. I don't know if you disconnected a while. Oh, you're back.
No.
Say that again.
Hi, I said
Yeah.
this film can be banished to the Earth's liquid magma core, destroyed and never seen again. Fuck this film.
Do you know the part that really bugs me about the end and the almighty sin, right? Of the death of good old James Bond. Right?
The fact that I've seen more fucking enthusiasm I've seen more emotion at an office leaving party in a cheap sales team than I have to sending Bond off. Bro, you can't defend that. I'm sorry.
It didn't kill me. It didn't kill me.
Oh.
No, bro, your emotional resonance of what you're looking for, I get. I get what you would like to have seen, but I also
Something, a
appreciate what it
fucking
was.
gun salute, an acknowledgement to his years of service. This is the biggest fucking cinema character ever.
Whoa. Here we go again. For his years of service. You're looking at the arc of the entire Bond. This film started with a man who was just about to become a 00. And think of it, we're talking about a 5-movie deep legacy. For this Bond, right? What bugged me, for a man who would dive off at every building, do everything to save everyone, he didn't even attempt to leave this island. That's where I was like, that was the irredeemable part of Bond. For a man who will try everything, even if he died, right? He just stands there and be like, you've made a beautiful creation. And just stand there and I just watch him get like blasted off to fuck.
And Bond is killed by the British fucking fleet. And whoever fucking wrote that was like, oh, that's probably really deep and poetic. The cunts who think that are the same sort of dickwads who decide to buy a digital SLR that they don't know how to use, set it on auto mode, and take a fucking black and white photograph of a rocking chair with a 5 p.m. shadow. Oh, cool. Look at me. I'm taking a black and white photo. I must be so brooding and deep. Twat. British Empire kills one. Oh, yes, the sweet irony of the British spy being killed. Friendly fuck you.
I just found it really weak that there was no attempt whatsoever from essentially one of the most iconic heroes in the history of cinema.
Not one of the. There is no, but there's no one who's got a longer legacy than Bond. The iconic hero.
I agree. But I just felt it was just weak as fuck that he was just going to stand there. You're not going to just accept your fate, right? Bond just accepting that. It just, that part I felt.
You
was
know
weak
what
as
else
fuck.
Bond doesn't do? Bond doesn't look at a pretty lady and attempt to not seduce her. That pissed me off.
Oh no, but we can't do that because objectification of women and I will be offended.
You soft fucking snowflakes. Bond sees woman, he gets bestial and caveman like. He
Yeah, I
smash.
mean,
He
got-
smash. Bond smash.
Of course he
Hulk
does.
smash. Bond smash.
Bro, he
Different
did in
smash,
most
but
films.
Bond smash.
He did in most of the films. I mean, listen, I know there was an arc of Bond and Moneypenny that wasn't explored. I get that. And who else are we talking? I'm just trying to think.
Ana de Armas, the hot little Latina girl who is in this movie. Ayari arriba.
Yeah. That,
Oh, we're not going to make a move on this beautiful Latina girl. Okay. Well, this is officially James woke.
But all I'm saying is, I get the points. But I still don't think it would ever fall into worst category. I can understand.
Worst, because both of the Hobbit says James Bond dying is a national tragedy. Yes. The disrespect. I'm even going to do the Italian hands here. The fucking disrespect.
Bro, please, guys, do not think I'm going against that, right?
You
I
are.
am not going
Because
against
you can't
that. No.
see why it's such an affront to the fucking nation that they killed James Bond. You don't kill Bond.
Bro, I've listened to your argument. I've listened to your
The anger's not at
review.
you, obviously.
Huh?
You know the anger's not at you, right? It's
No,
at
I know,
these-
bro. I get this. Bro, I get this, and I know I've not watched the whole film, so I'm not going to be as deeply cultivated in the legacy of Bond. I still respect the fuck out of Bond. Please do not ever think I don't. However, as I said, I take this in the same way that you have. I agree with you with one thing: James Bond will return is a passing of the torch. It's that It's a passing of the torch, and in a way where you kill him and tell me, "Oh, we're going to reboot the film because James Bond will return."
Again!
And what was actually really stupid about that is, in every other film, it was 007 will return. In this one, you've categorically said, "Oh, don't worry, guys, James Bond will return."
Right.
Yeah.
So what are we
the
going to
others
do?
are 007.
As I
So,
said
bro,
in the review, as I
good
said in the
point.
review, what's going to happen now? We're going to reboot Bond again. And what is the story that's intrinsic to Bond? It's Spectre. So we're going to do Spectre again. So we're going to do Blofeld again. So we're going to do the same storylines again. Now what we have is, because we've killed this character, we've now reset him not once, not twice, but 3 times. So we've now reset Bond. And what do we have to show for it? Copy and paste storyline. You've just made a 50+ year fucking cinema character who had different stories. Some are better than others. Very appreciate that. But you had a 50-year thread of storylines that were loosely interconnected one to the other. It flowed from one to the other. There was congruity within each movie. And now what you've done is you've resigned
that
Bond to
problem
the
from Casino
fucking world
Royale.
of copy and paste.
You've had that problem from Casino Royale, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Yeah,
And they've made it worse now.
I'm not saying no, but I just don't think it full. I believe we've had worse cinema. It was bad. It's
Oh, we have. Listen, this
criminally
is why I said I
offensive.
have too. Army
Yeah.
of the Dead was a bad fucking film. This was a movie that I wanted to love, and it's a fucking travesty.
Bro, the biggest part that you said was it was shot beautifully. It had the right tones. It did have extra, and I believe I actually started to question Rami Malek as an actor based on that. Like,
No, you
the
must.
more I thought of it,
That's, again, it's just bad script writing.
I don't know because it
Bro,
depends.
if I give you a turd to polish, it may be polished, but it's still going to be a
The
turd.
character was irritating as fuck. That's irrelevant. That
Not
I
Rami's
love.
fault.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. I've enjoyed him as Freddie Mercury. I'm trying to think where else I've seen him and enjoyed him. I wasn't a big fan of Mr. Robot, and this is what I was like, was he more
Pedro
lucky?
Santos, thank you. No Bond actor should act as a producer in those films. The character is not there to serve the actor. The actor is there to serve
Of course,
the character.
listen, guys.
Someone
maybe I feel
explain
like
that to fucking slabhead Daniel Craig. He's fucking vetoed for life for me, by the way. Like, if Daniel Craig shows up in the MCU, that will be the MCU movie I don't see. Such was his involvement with the killing of Bond, that this guy here, Craig, if you're watching, sit and spin. And you know, there's that fucking viral post going around with him on the Graham Norton show when Graham says to him, "What does the next Bond have to be?" And Craig says, "Not shit." And I just wanted to go, "What, like you?" Fuck Craig. Fuck Craig and fuck No Time to Die. And breathe.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was great,
No,
but
it was not.
it has many problems. I think combination of many problems was the thing, and I think that was the main problem. Yeah, he was nice and hands-on, but it's hard to make it Bond with all of the stuff. Like it lacked the gadgets, it lacked the cars. When they brought the cars out, oh my god, they brought the cars out. I was very happy when I saw it.
Mhm.
But it just felt it was never Bond to me when I looked at this
No.
sequence of films.
What have I said to you since Casino Royale came out years and years ago? They have turned James Bond into Jason fucking Bourne. That's what it feels like.
That was the problem. So
And Bond isn't Bourne. He's not this free-running, computer-generated, quick-draw orangutan. He's smooth, he's slender, he's sleek, he's dark-haired, and I say that as a blonde guy. He's fucking dark-haired. He's the guy who shows up, plays a game of Baccarat, shags the casino owner's daughter, flies away on a jetpack, shoots a laser out of his watch, shoots. It's amassed in a lot of shooting apparently, but he is a spy. You know, finds this villain with an underwater volcano lair, but not Dr. Evil.
but that's
Saves
like-
the day, rides off
honestly,
into the
this is why I
sunset.
think
That's
Spectre was
Bond.
the only
and-
film in the Craig
Broken
legacy that
Atonement.
was worth talking about.
In a fucking year where the fucking last 2 years that we've been through, I needed some tongue-in-cheek Bond. I needed to feel good at the end of it. I
bro,
didn't need to go
think
through
the
2
sad
years
thing
of a
is-
pandemic just to be told, also Bond's dead. Ugh.
I think that's just bad timing, though. Like the film was recorded and finished before that, but it's not. It's bad. It just wouldn't fall into words for me. I had to comment on what I thought of Bond, having done the saga, you know, and I get it. Maybe not as attached because I haven't done every film like every guy has. I appreciate Bond. Please don't think I don't. I do. I disagree with the killing. I thought it was sad that the way he died, he went out was just ridiculous as fuck. I'm ticking the boxes. I'm just not
British
as emotionally
Empire, brooding
hurt.
and deep.
And I can't fucking comment on the scriptwriter, can I? Because it's fucking Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She was the feminist robot in Solo, a Star Wars story. And it's like, oh, wow, feminist robot in Solo, Star Wars story. Then comes and writes a James Bond movie where Bond literally doesn't lay his hands on a fucking woman and is afraid to even say hello to her. Yeah, no agenda here whatsoever.
Okay.
Chris
So,
Trangrove says a Bond film can do whatever it wants. Sure, it can. I can do a headstand in the shower and take a piss while I'm doing it. That doesn't mean I should do it.
So, just out of interest, Chris, let's do it out of 10. What is your rating of No Time to Die?
He gave
I
it
mean,
he gave it a 4 out of 5 earlier.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay. 8 out of 10. So yeah, appreciation. It's inherently not a terrible film. It just has stuff that people don't resonate with, and this is where we've got to be careful. And this is what I appreciated with your review. You said from a personal, passionate standpoint, this is terrible. And again, on a thing where we're talking about our personal top 10s, I understand why it's a worse for you. But the balance of what it is as a film, taking emotion out of it, it's not that bad. They made some huge mistakes. Don't get me wrong.
Those huge mistakes. Look, anyway, fuck it. The review is on the channel, guys. It's the highest viewed video we've got. It's right there at the top. Go and check it out. AJ, you're number 1.
Right. It's based.
Shock
and I know
horror.
most people-
3
No,
things are sure in
no.
life.
Do you know what? I actually really didn't want it to be, and I don't want people to think that I'm riding the coattails of let's show the picture. Spider-Man went no way home. It's not that element of riding the coat.
No, but it is the element of 3 things are sure in life: death, taxes, and AJ talking about comic book movies.
Do
Talk
you know
about the
what it
comic
is?
book movie.
Let's talk about the comic book movie. But if it is sure in life, we have to look at it in a way. Because at first, I didn't even want to. I really hoped it wouldn't have made it there, but I didn't. I also wasn't going to lie just to avoid it being number 1 because of course that's the way he's going to go. When it comes to this film, okay, it could be as a normal fan. There's box ticking. You more than anyone, right, know the way this brain operates, right? Where problems down to where everyone was like, Avengers was amazing. I was like, yeah, but Iron Man was great. And I had that major beef with the whole I'm Iron Man at the end. Like, I was like, great film, but no. Like, I've had my beefs along the way. I have beefs with this film. However,
Sure.
one of them being, well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but someone shouldn't have been in that world. It just logically doesn't make sense based on
Who?
Based on the incantation, someone shouldn't have been there, right? It's in the private chat. It shouldn't be there.
Multiverse.
Logically, huh?
Multiverse. Why not?
So, what was the curse? Everyone who knows who it is. Where have we seen that those two have connected? Doesn't exist.
Yet.
Yet permeates that it shouldn't have happened then. Everyone who
Well, we don't know
knows,
that that's what the incantation was. We know that the spell broke. We don't know what the exact details of the spell breaking.
I'm sorry. Once again, everyone who was breaking through is everyone who knew who Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That person didn't. Just saying. Personally, bring back Mysterio. That would have been a nice number 6.
He did.
Anyway. Yeah. Oh, because all the others were alive, yeah?
That's a very good point.
Right. So I have beef and I acknowledge the problems of
Should have put in Scorpion. Just saying it.
No, because Scorpion doesn't.
Why?
Okay, Scorpion would know, but Scorpion is. I don't. The reason being, Scorpion is entitled to his own movie. These people have all been a villain that they've all taken on. Scorpion has not got to that point of taking on Spider-Man at that.
I can't wait for them to do that.
Well, they have to. It's
Well,
been
they've set it
teased
up.
enough.
It's
Yeah.
been there.
Exactly. It's there. So that's the point. Based on overall cinema experience, and I've had some good cinema experiences.
You're saying what
Not
Frank
just
Torres is
having-
saying.
Yeah.
No Way Home is the
Yeah.
most fun a lot of people had in the
This
theater
is
this year.
exactly that. Like we done it for Endgame and we done it again here. Like I was with the crew, and that was amazing. The element of the way my brain has thinks, and you know this from people have heard about it before. If you don't know, we can expand on it later. Justice Avengers. The way my brain physically condenses information, and that needs to happen for this to make sense. It hit the beats. It made certain mistakes. A lot of people are asking where was someone else. I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. So it's not just because it's the amazing. No. Everything in the way I compute and I would look for in a film was delivered there, and that's why I actually would call it my thing. It's not like we got to see da. Yeah, I was kind of. But the way I compute it and look for in this is what I would need from a film. You know how I will tease a character somewhere when I wrote a script, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean anything till later on. We got those little elements, the emotional side. The
but you were
comedic
going
side.
Vince McMahon in your ways of script teasing. It was like, oh,
You needed to.
It was
a
McMahonian what you were
film.
doing.
It was a 2-part film, but hey, it is what it is. But what I'm getting at is, it gave me everything. The honoring of memes, everything that I looked for was given. Now I appreciate, and do you know I had an argument with my sister and her boyfriend yesterday? Right, it was me and Zany on one side, Natalie and Darren on the other, because they believed Shang-Chi is a better film than No Way Home. And I was like,
absolutely fucking not.
In what planet? And they're like, but to you comic book geeks, of course that was the better film because you knew this and you knew that. And I'm like, maybe, but that's what I needed. As Big Tone said last week, the perfect love letter.
Speaking of Big Tone in the house.
My bro, just in time. But it was that perfect love letter, and I think that's what I had. It just gave me what I would ever look for. And Endgame.
Have you seen my review for this on the channel?
Not as yet, no.
I said something. I don't want to tap myself too hard on the back and risk breaking my arm, but I said something which I thought was quite beautiful. I thought it's the type of movie that the late Stan Lee would have made for the true believers.
Bro, do you know what I said? That is something I said to Zane yesterday. Coincidentally, we think of the right, we think the same way. I was like, Endgame and No Way Home are the two films that Stan needed to be in. And even if they could have found a way
You
to
could tell where Stan was going to be in, though, couldn't you? You saw the old guy at the cafe in the end. You just know that was meant to be Stan.
There's a part of me that says it should have, because of especially because Spider-Man, like Stan's created so much, but Spidey was his baby. I would have digitally inserted Stanley into it just to honor him. Like it to me, it felt like it needed to be.
You can't. You might. They're never going to do that.
No,
But
no,
what
no.
they could do is use that same old guy throughout the movie, so we know that that's where Stanley
That is the spiritual successor. Yeah. That would be very nice. But that is just the one thing. Like again, these are just emotional ticks that I was looking for. But to me, it's a comic book movie, and I really didn't want one to be. I own everything. Normally, I can't remember what my film of the year was last year, but it was like, it doesn't have to be a bloody comic book movie. But the fun, the box ticking, essentially, the beats that I had, the emotional roller coaster, it gave me everything I'd want in a film, and that's why No Way Home is my number one.
I had issues with it, much like you did. My biggest one being, although it got the pop, again, in wrestling term, pop means the crowd reaction. It got the pop of pops when the two Peters showed up.
I wouldn't have said that just yet, just in case people hadn't seen it. But
bro, come on, it's all over the social media. But you'll by this stage, if you care, you've seen it. So I thought
unless you're in North Korea,
I thought their arrival was lame as fuck. I
know where you have your beef.
Seeing them,
I know where you have your beef with that, and it.
How long did it take Stephen Strange to learn his incantations?
Bro, do you know
Mr. Ned flips his fucking hand and it's like, I want to see Peter.
One of the things that I will say, and I tried to say it in text last week, there's only so much you can squeeze into a film, and it is that kind of Ned alluded to the fact that it's in his family. So that's why I kind of reference Harry Potter. Like, bro,
Ned and Wong are related, the two Asians, clearly.
Of course, and Shang-Chi's his great uncle. Like, I'm sure, like, it's all in there. But what I'm getting at is there are some stuff we don't have time to insert into film. Like, what are we going to have to do to show? And again, it becomes...
You could have brought Stephen Strange back before that and had him bring him in.
Bro, do you know what it is? It's through error that it permits it to happen, because he's Peter. Show me Spider-Man. The real Stephen Strange swinging would have given us Peter Parker of MCU Earth. Ned, who has made a mistake. I mean, it's a cheap defense, but you get where I'm going.
It's a cheap defense. It's cheap, but it's valid. But it didn't work for me.
But again, do you know what it is? To me personally,
Pedro says this perfectly. That was Finn with the lightsaber, Ned in the portals. That's actually so true. That is so true.
I mean,
it is exactly like that.
I think you missed it last week. I think I actually compared Ned to Rey. It's just like, it just happens to be part of your powers. Like, I get it. I get where some people will get upset, but I sometimes, especially in long ass films, we have to just accept stuff because there's no point trying to. That would be a filler that's not required. Let's be honest, to show this whole thing. And I get what you're saying, but let's be honest. As you said numerous times, hashtag strongest Avenger. If he was available, you wouldn't need the other two.
I mean, this is also true.
So, yeah.
All right, look, I get why you've put yours at your number one. It was, okay, so here's the thing. I agree with you in terms of it being one of the best cinema experiences of the year as far as audience reaction goes. This, yes, it was. As far as being in a room, because this is why if I could, I would get rid of Netflix, I would get rid of Amazon Prime, I would get rid of Disney Plus, and I would just keep it cinema. Because I'm sorry to say this, there is something irreplaceable about moments like we had with Spider-Man No Way Home and Endgame.
Can I say something there? And I want to know if you agree. Do you think we were fortunate with the audience that we had?
Oh, yeah.
Because I said that to my bro. I was like, we were very fortunate because you can be in a room.
You did see I started another clap though, right? You did get that. The Daredevil, that was me.
Okay. To be fair, I had, because I've got a bit delayed. I literally sat down, looked up, saw Matt, and I was like, so I didn't even get a chance to hear anyone else. It was me, Tam, and Aaron. Tam's completely lost. Me and Aaron are like, bro. It was nuts. But yes, kudos to you for that. But you could actually be in a room where it could be crickets. Like people, like some people, but as we said, some people would have no fucking clue who the Netflix dude is. What? Who's the guy with glasses? What was that about? How'd they catch a brick? Like, huh? We were very lucky that it was a room full of people who knew how to react at the right spots.
for sure.
Yeah.
But you could tell it was an intergenerational thing. I know Chris Trengrove has voiced in the comments that this isn't really his type of movie, and that's fine. There's nothing
It's
wrong with that.
fine. It is honestly
But
fine.
there's something quite wonderful about how, a kid who went to see Spider-Man 1 with Toby back in, late 90s, early noughties, is now most likely a dad and is bringing his kid to see this new one and having his old
And they have
Spider-Man
that
come
common
back.
ground of Amazing Spider-Man, possibly. And it's like, we've got this. That's your Spider-Man. That's our Spider-Man. This is my Spider-Man. Like, it is quite beautiful.
And as Den, this is the thing. As Den says, the finger pointing, such good vibes. It was beautiful. I can't
It was
believe
gold.
they
It was absolutely
they
gold.
had to do it, but I also still am shocked that they did it,
But it's also the way they done it, because they could have done it in costume and really be on the nose, but they done it in such a subtle way in a very Peter Parker moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as soon as we've seen each other. Like really.
No, it's correct. And Frank Torres says, I've known people who had quiet screenings and it dulled their experience. This movie is designed for cheering. It's why YouTube cheering videos get millions of hits. We love that kind of energy. Chris Trengrove, we agree. God, Toby, I hated his Spider-Man. Right there with you, my friend.
No one more than me. I remember the first film came out. I was like, this guy's too geeky, ridiculous. Get rid of him. He redeemed himself in Spider-Man 2. I think that was a very good movie.
He ain't Andrew.
No.
My guy. But both of the Hobbits said further up in the comments that, they want to see No Way Home nominated for an Oscar. Now, I love that energy and I love the fact that you enjoyed it so much. No chance in hell is No Way Home being nominated for the Best Picture Oscar. Like,
when it comes to this kind of stuff, I choose to pull back just because the appreciation of film that's required. No. Listen, I get it. The category of films that normally come up in a nomination vibe doesn't normally fit the blockbuster vibe, and for that's why I think it's kind of dampened what I'm looking for in award ceremony. So I do kind of pull back. If it does, congratulations, but I'm not going to be over the moon. Like, oh my god, we finally done it! Comic book movies.
Look, I know it's very easy to bash the award crowd as being elitist and as being, not into comic book movies, but the fact of the matter is that most of the time, not necessarily the winners, but most of the nominees that they pick are legitimately the best made films. I don't mean in terms of the message or the theme or how they make you feel or whether they, shove popcorn in your face fun or whether they're like, change your life and make you cry. I'm not talking about what they make you feel. I'm talking about objectively how a film is constructed, the blueprint, how you would build a building. Is this building well made or is it going to fucking fall down? The films that they pick are usually the ones that are the best made.
Bro, I get it, but then there are others who will say, yeah, they may be well made, but they bore the shit out of me. And I'm not here to judge. I'm just seeing the balance of it all, and that's where it. But again,
I think there should be a blockbuster category in the Oscars. Yes.
Hey, do you remember I said that? I'm here for it all day, but it is what it is. It's how you choose to appreciate, and that's why there are different awards, because it's how you choose to consume your media then relates to how you give out awards. It's as simple as.
Correct. Frank Torres says the best picture field this year is going to be very stuffy, very Nomadland. Like, Nomadland was such a fucking snooze. Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that film. But I'd like to think things like West Side Story. I'd like to things like Tick Tick Boom. I'd like to things like Licorice Pizza. I'd like to things like The French Dispatch. I think they'll get on there. I'd like to things like Drive My Car will get on there. Then the text says, if Dark Knight couldn't get nominated, none will. Well, Dark Knight did get nominated, and it actually won for Best Supporting Actor, and Black Panther got nominated too for Best Picture. Food for thought.
Just the point is that, yeah.
So look, my best cinema experience in terms of feeding off of an audience, yes, I'm with you, bro. It was Spider-Man No Way Home. But in terms of, I've been on quite a journey with my number one. It's the pun from earlier. You know what's coming. But as I've alluded to already, you can follow me at Nico Lurot on Instagram. I like photography. It's one of the jobs that I do. It's one of the 3 creative media things that I do, right? My number one just ticked all the boxes for me as far as satisfying that need. I know Den the Tech's going to hate me, and I don't care. My number one best movie of the year is Dune. This film fucking blew me away.
It blew me away. It just looked, yes, I'm going to speak purely of the visuals. I don't need to get into the acting. Why? Because fucking Stellan Skarsgård, Timothy Chalamet, and the like are in it. So the acting speaks for itself. In
Jason
terms of
Momoa.
Jason,
Sorry, you know someone else was going to say it. I just had to find.
yeah, I know someone else was going to say it. Who Jason Momoa, funnily enough, was actually okay.
He wasn't shit, but I'm just saying
He
when you're
wasn't
like,
shit.
Stellan Skarsgård, Timothy
He wasn't
Chalamet.
his usual self. I'll
Yeah.
give him that. Josh Brolin was great in it too. He always is, right? Zendaya, who had a very small part, but she was powerful in it. Look, Dune. Read Dune. Like people say, Lord of the Rings is hard to adapt, and it is because of the amount of detail in it. Dune's on another fucking level in terms of how difficult that book is to adapt into a movie. And yet somehow Denis Villeneuve, who's kind of in the naughty corner with me at the moment because he's on that Scorsese and Ridley Scott bandwagon of bashing Marvel movies because it's just cheap heat. Yeah, it is literally that. It's cheap heat what they're doing. But man, Villeneuve's a good auteur. Man, fuck me, Villeneuve knows how to make a pretty movie. And man, oh man, Villeneuve knows how to make a well-paced movie. Man, he knows how to make you savor every single line that a character is delivering. He knows how to make you feel the energy that is in a specific room. He knows if a room is cold or wet, he knows through the lens of the camera how to make the audience feel that. When you're on Arrakis, he knew how to make you feel hot and dry. You know, you could almost fucking taste the sand in your mouth. You could smell the spice melange in the air. I'm only speaking from my pure personal experience, of course, but Dune blew my mind. For me, I think it's going to fall into that Jungle Book category we were talking about, where, yeah, Jungle Book, this is a far superior film to Jungle Book, but whereby I don't think people give Jungle Book anywhere near enough credit for how much of a technical achievement it is. I reckon Dune's going to end up in the same bin as the Jungle Book, because this film, my friend, mark my word, this is a landmark moment in what you can do visually with light in cinema. Blew my mind.
So I'm not blind, right? But I know that my eye misses a lot of shit. Yeah. So I remember you was like, don't 300 yourself. And I'm not going to say I didn't appreciate the visuals. Yeah. I sometimes need it more on the nose, maybe more like The Revenant or Avatar, which is obviously fucking eye candy. What I will say is there is a great story in Dune. And this is for someone who, as I said before, it's the weirdest way, jumped into the cinema because it was too early to go to dinner. So then I started to get a bit nervous that I'm going to miss the restaurants because it now looked like the film's going to finish too late for dinner. Right? That was kind of like the issue I had. However, aside from that, really enjoyed it. And I know the lightsaber freaks are going to hate me. I said it before and I'll say it again. It felt like the smarter version of Star Wars. It looks like what I look at Star Wars and the elements of the story, I felt it told a lot better in Dune. And that's what I really...
Well, you had properly developed characters written by one of the great sci-fi writers in Frank Herbert.
But again, yeah, well, there we go. But it's that character development, the again, it's all that same kind of peace treaties and this, that, and the other, and different planets and their different ethics and what have you. And this one trying to, like, everything about it just ticked a box in a way that I really appreciated. Now, I felt the time, but I would call it, and I'm not saying it's the greatest film or the long film that I refer to. I had vibes of Wolf of Wall Street, and I say that in the sense of you try to think to yourself, "Oh, this is ticking on," but I enjoy it. I love it. Keep going. It's ticking on. Time is going by, but I love what I'm going, and you can give me more. But wow, I'm aware that time has passed, and that's what this film gave me. I don't actually have anything negative to say about this film. If I'm honest.
You can't. There is a little bit of negativity in the comment section, which I get if you weren't braced for it. The kind of recurring soundbite seems to be that people weren't ready for the abrupt ending. Now, if you've read the book, I'm not saying if you've read a book, you haven't read the book, you're a lesser person. I just happen to have been lucky and read the book, right? If you've read the book, you knew the way that this movie was paced, that they were not going to see through the whole book. It's just not possible. There is too much in there. So I appreciate that it was a little bit of mismarketing in the sense that they probably should have called it part 1 of 3, but I don't think it's a fair argument to say that it ended abruptly, therefore I don't like it. Because to that, I'll just say Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
But I
And
don't
people are
think
like, oh,
there's-
that's different because it was one book. It's like, well, if you haven't read the books, how are you to know that?
But I don't think because a film keeps me in suspense. Okay, okay, on the nose with Kill Bill, it was called Volume 1. But because a film left me wanting more, that shouldn't be a reason for me to hate it. Like, logically, it doesn't make sense. You're upset because it left me on a cliffhanger. Well, where else do you expect me to do it? On a closing chapter and then say, "Oh, come back for part 2"? No, leave me on a cliffhanger. The logic to me, that's the way I like to consume my media.
Well, this is it. This is it. So I can't really listen to the argument of it ended abruptly. For me, it's like, no, it ended where it needed to end after 2.5 hours at that point in the story. It was like the perfect place to end. The way Dune ended was like exactly where we left Frodo and Sam at the end of the Fellowship of the Ring. That was the right, correct place to end it. You know, if you start messing around with the book too much, then you don't get Lord of the Rings. You get more. And I like these movies that I'm about to mention, but they are inferior. You get The Hobbit, which are just a mishmash of why did we end at this point? Why did we make 3 movies instead of 2 or 1? You know, Dune, Hobbit's a book that's like that thick. Dune is like, Dune's a monster. Like every time I do that.
God.
Rocket Raccoon says hi. Yeah, Dune is a monster book, bro. It's
Listen, I have no beef with the type. I'm aware it's long, but it is what it is. I have no beef with the way it ended at all.
it's an epic space opera fantasy. To answer, I think it was Frank Torres who answered. To answer the question, Blade Runner or Dune, Blade Runner, all day long. Francis Lalonde says wanting more means more interest in any follow-up. Correct. Pedro Sanchez says not a fan of Lord of the Rings, but the first film felt better than Dune. For sure. Listen, Lord of the Rings is one of the greatest films ever made. Like, this is a very high bar I'm setting. I'm not saying that Dune is comparable to Lord of the Rings. What I'm saying is that the way that Dune ended is comparable to the way that the Fellowship of the Ring ended. And the argument can't be, oh, but that's because that Fellowship of the Ring was the first book. I know so many people who saw those movies and who have never read the books and who couldn't tell you part 1 from part 3. So the book argument, and you either apply it to both or you don't apply it at all. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm always of that nature. You can't have it both ways.
Chris Trangrove, I will not abide Lord of the Rings disrespect. Chris Trangrove, I love you, brother. Love you for saying that. Dan, the text says Lord of the Rings is also trash. Dan, I believe. Dan, I believe that you're engaging in your 2021 end of year trolling target now. I shall not bite. You shall not pass. Lord of the Rings is also trash.
He could
The
literally have a nice
budget,
convo with
the Oscar reception, the universal love for the source material. Hey, bro, I've been on a very small island of people by myself too. I know the feeling, but just make sure you got a palm tree, that one palm tree protecting you on that small island you're on. Make sure you don't get burnt, yeah? Because Lord of the Rings ain't trash, my friend. But it's okay. I know what it's like to be on the small island. I'm just pissed at Dune taking it out on Lord of the Rings. Leave Lord of the Rings alone. And leave Dune alone too. It's a fucking amazing film. I reckon in a few years' time, once Dune 2 and 3 have come out, Den's going to look back at the whole story and be like, actually, this is quite good.
Bro, I don't know. It's a hard one. I think it's hard to take it. You have to enjoy what you enjoy. I don't think you could appreciate a second and a third, but I don't think you're going to look back at the first and be like, oh yeah, that was actually amazing. Like, it's very rare that happens.
I'm hating Dune more and more. And Pedro Sancto says, the fact that I wanted a bit of a resolution in Dune doesn't mean I wanted more.
Fair play.
And said Dune was a great setup movie. Thank you. The setup. Wait to see what happens. Shit goes down. Read the book. I promise you, shit goes down.
Fair enough.
Wait for it.
I'm just waiting. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Big shit happens. Don't worry. It's cool.
Really cool. Anyway, that's our top 10 movies of the year, guys. What we'd like you to all to do now, and this is as per Den the Tech suggested, and I think it's a damn good one. Instead of everyone dropping their 10 movies of the year in, as the show is called Movie Mount Rushmore, I want to know what everyone's personal Mount Rushmores for the year are.
I mean, I'm not saying I disagree, but technically your top 4 would always be your Rushmore. Some people might be like, oh, it's called Movie Mount Rushmore, but you fuckers both say 10 each, don't you? I'm just being devil's advocate on this.
Why are you being devil's advocate against your co-host?
Bro, again, it's like the Momoa. You fire the shot before someone else does. I aim for the leg. They would have gone for the chest, you know? But yeah, so yeah, go for it, guys. Put your top 4s up. I'm not going to disrespect the call, but
Pedro Santos, did you guys see Tita? No, not yet. Unfortunately, it's on my to see list as well. Chris Trangrove is going to be very happy here because I actually think, just for the sheer fact that it's an international, for the sheer fact that we're about diversity in our Rushmore, I don't care that it's going to get eviscerated on Twitter. If I can edutain one person more to watch this film, I'll be happy. I would like Drive My Car to be on the Rushmore.
You know, and I always say this, and I don't know how to put it in there because it feels wrong. Or how especially on Twitter, there's no side note. I do feel, and I'm not opposed to it. I've literally put it down. There should be this category of the edutainment section. You know, so as much as there's a Rushmore, the film we know will lose, but just as a point, guys, while we're on this topic, that's the edutainment movie. But I'll put it in there. It just I hate to see good films get buried, and this is without seeing it. You know, but
bro, it will get buried. It will absolutely get buried. But as I said, I'm very much of the opinion of if one person can sort of come up and say, let's Drive My Car. Between Chris Trangrove and myself, hopefully we can be like, you need to see this film.
So,
and now we've got our international and we've got our art house movie covered in one.
Dune is in my top 4. It's your number 1, so I have no.
Yes.
There you go.
Dune, yes. Piss off Den the Tech. Dune.
So we've also got Spider-Man. I don't think you're going to dispute that, are you? It's a fucking damn box office. More than anything, it can't not be in the category of film of 2021.
No, it can't, and it's going to destroy the poll.
It is what it is. We have these situations. My 4th is where I think we have an issue because our common one again in the top 4 is Tick Tick Boom. Obviously, Drive My Car is going to take more of a pounding, but I don't know if this is going to create an impact. I don't know where it lays with people. Did you see what I'm saying? It's a weird one.
It is. The only other 2 that I would consider maybe putting in as best movie of the year, just because they're one, it's a legitimately great movie, and I have a feeling people have forgotten about it in all the sort of Christmas noise of Spider-Man and whatnot. And when they see it again, I'll be actually, yeah, that was fucking great. I'd maybe fight for A Quiet Place Part 2. And the other one I would fight for would possibly be The French Dispatch, just because it's so different to everything else.
But are you doing double edutainment with The French Dispatch? I'm just asking based on.
Oh, I am. I most definitely am.
I mean, there is a part of me that says, especially if we think we know a clear winner, or in there.
Yeah,
I don't mind trying to educate. I don't mind trying to play the education.
Oh, the porn is back. Block user. Carry on.
I don't know if you know you've got a clear winner, does it hurt to put edutainment out? Or do we just try to mix it up a bit? I mean...
Well, what would you put in? Tick, tick, boom?
But this is what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to get a major reaction. I could be completely wrong. Like the world may have seen it, especially it's Netflix. Like most people have a Netflix account. There's a part of me that's intrigued to see just how people did digest Late Night in Soho, but I'm not fussed. I don't need it to be in there. It's just a kind of, I wonder where it would fall.
Frank Torres says French Dispatch then.
I'm not opposed. I haven't
Let's
seen
be
it.
real. There's going to be one very clear winner. I know the Twitterverse. I know everyone's going to fucking vote for Spider-Man, but Pedro Santos is right. It should be about the two of us, and we both love Tick Tick Boom. Fuck it. Pedro's right. I'm sorry. Let's put Tick Tick Boom in there.
I love when Rushmore goes old school. I really do. I don't know, and this is with like loving the audience that have stuck with us for 2 hours and 40, right? But I love when it just gets to that point of, no, this is what it needs to be. Forget the votes. Forget this. This is it's the silver screen. It's like an Empire magazine. I think we need to remember this. Empire created the 100 greatest movies of all time, as per Empire. The movie Mount Rushmore, as per the silver screen dudes. Yes, the screeners are involved. But it's per the silver screen dude. So yes, thank you for that reminder. Tick tick boom it is.
Both of the Hobbits suggest, can we leave out Spider-Man in June? No. Can't. We know that they're going to steamroll everything, but
and
you
then
have to put them in.
It just doesn't make sense to not put it in. Essentially, you can't, because I don't touch the Twitter, but I can only imagine the questions of, so where's Spider-Man? So it's June. So it's June. What did you guys forget about June? Did you guys forget about Spider-Man? Like it's just going to be going on all day long.
It will. I think that's the Rushmore. I'm happy with those four.
Cool. Do you know what? I could be wrong. Obviously, it's going to come out in a second. We may actually see a back-to-back winner, which I don't think has ever happened.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Spoiler for about what's about to come up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get this bad boy sealed, because hey, we don't want to touch 3 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of our movies of 2021, in no particular order, is
Drive My Car.
Our second entry is
Dune.
Our third entry is
Spider-Man No Way Home.
our final entry into the movie Mount Rushmore of 2021 movies is
Tick Tick Boom. Fantastic film if you guys haven't seen it yet.
Do you not hear that Saliva song so much when you hear that title?
Which was Saliva?
Yeah.
No.
Tick, boom.
No. Funny enough, I have Ice Cube. You Can Do It. That's how it kicks off. Tick, tick, boom. Henry running down his back streets. But anyway, yeah. It is what it is. Yeah,
and
it's a musical.
been in Justice League Snyder Cut. Big tone. AJ hasn't seen it.
I know. And it didn't even make your top 10, so yeah, I mean, don't just bury me on that.
It was an honorable. Actually,
Actually,
I'm gonna shout out my honorables very quickly. Mortal Kombat, which you mentioned, Justice League Snyder Cut, Malignant, Raya and the Last Dragon. I had a lot of fun
I didn't
with.
get a chance to see that, man. I know
Very
it's on
nice
Disney
film.
Plus.
Very nice film. Shang-Chi was an honorable. Becoming Cousteau, which was the documentary on Disney Plus, and 14 Peaks, the documentary about the crazy Nepalese climbers who climbed like the 14 highest peaks in the world in like 6 months. It was like fucking insanity. Go and watch that documentary on Netflix. That was good.
So have you not seen your Lonely as well?
No, I've got it right here, and I haven't had a chance to fucking watch it. It's killing me.
That one did touch me. Yeah. If we are going to do honourable,
Can I just say something?
Mhm.
I know it's a shit film, but that chase scene at the end of Fast and Furious 9 with the big magnet.
I've not touched. Listen, I've got on Fast 9. I'm just not ready. Those are the ones that really bug me, the Fast franchise. But yeah. So Black Widow, Cruella. Actually, I had a lot of fun with. And
fuck that film. That
you didn't like it?
pissed me. Oh, I hated it. It pissed me off something else.
And Free Guy. Those will be my one. Like if I had to mention it, because I saw it, Venom 2, but I didn't think it was amazing. And possibly, even though I don't think it was the best of the MonsterVerse, Godzilla vs. Kong.
It was fun. I'm sorry. Mecha Godzilla on screen for the first time. That was fun. You can't say otherwise. Chris Grove says, proud of you guys for including Drive My Car. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Pedro Sancto says, Val Kilmer Doc. Do you know what, Pedro? It was on Sky for like a week, and then they pulled it for some reason.
and I
Interesting.
really wanted to catch that. Francis Lalonde says 14 Peaks remake of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. No idea, but it's an original documentary about Nepalese climbers, and it's on Netflix now. So I thoroughly recommend 14 Peaks. Pedro Sancto says Finnish Riders of Justice, Nico, great film. I'm actually going to go watch it right now when we're done. Forgot about Fast and Furious 9, F9, another crap film. So crap. They put cars in space, but they have a magnet chase, which is, if you're stupid, is kind of awesome. Free Guy's good. Yeah, it's fine. Anyone see The Mauritanian? It was on my to-see list, the one with Benedict Cumberbatch. I haven't had a chance to actually watch it yet. And Kong versus Zilla was stupid, but fire.
Fair play. I don't know if people agree, but Skull Island was my movie.
Original Godzilla.
Right. Okay, guys. So normally this end of a season has a bit of a break, but no, we will be back next week. But yeah, so
Holy
how
shit,
can we
will
say
we?
this? What?
Fuck, will we?
Are we not? Bro, if we're not, let me know. I'm actually quite comfortable with that.
What's next week?
It's January, isn't it, as far as I'm concerned? But hey, if there's a break,
No, it
there's a
is.
break.
No, it's January. No, there's no break. It's January.
I think there may be a February end of season break because hey, we need time. But no, going into everything. How can I say this? This has been an interesting season because end of last season, mid last season, we were toying with stuff. We had to do it all virtual. It became part online, and it just became one thing. We've built a community that's been, yes, it's on pod, it's on Twitter, and you guys literally tune in every week. One way or another, we hear from you guys each week on YouTube, and that, without anything, you have no idea how humbling it is. Because as Nico kicks off each show with, it's just two best friends from school who enjoy talking films, and the fact that there's a community in this, like, yeah, this the two best friends, but the screeners are part of the Silver Screen Dudes. Like, when I say hey screeners, it's not just a cheap tagline. We appreciate each and every one of you. Some of you we are lucky to have met in person. That would be Big Tone, then the tech. Like, yeah, we love you guys. That's brotherhood right there. But trust me, there is a brotherhood, and as much as I would love to say I have that same connection on Twitter, I don't have it. But the fact that I do get to meet these people that I've kept hearing the names from on Twitter, join us, it puts a smile on my face and warms my heart so much. Anyone who's coming new, you're welcome as well. Like, just hit us up. Like, hey, first time listening, loved it, hated it, whatever. We appreciate constructive criticism. It's just a long spiel because, hey, it's the end of a season. So we're just saying thank you. I love the love that I got from coming back from the global one. Like,
that was lovely.
Thank you.
That was
was so touching. You have no idea. I didn't even get that from my family. I'm joking, but no. But honestly,
joking.
Yeah, partially. But no, honestly, really appreciate all of you guys. And if there is anything, obviously, we're not saying that we can like splash the cash, but if there is any recommendations, anything you want to talk to the Silver Screen Dudes about, guys, it is a pleasure for us to respond to us. So whether it be on Twitter at Movie MT Rushmore, at the Silver Screen Dudes, which will be kicking back off on Instagram on the 1st of January. www.silverscreendudes.com.
I don't mean to cut you off, mate. We've still got people's comments to read out for their Rushmores, and we've still got the Rushmore from last week. I don't know why you're trying to close this, but...
I just wanted to close that off because we've done our bit and then it goes to the people. So, it was just my bit of saying thank you. Thank you.
Let me just rush through people's picks here. So both of the Hobbits picks for the year are number 1, Pig, number 2, June, my man, number 3, Belfast, 4, Spider-Man No Way Home, 5, The Hand of God, 6, Nightmare Alley, 7, Boss Level, 8, Escape from Mogadishu, 9, Come On, and 10, Coda. No, that was the wrong one to star. Both of the Hobbit then gives their Rushmore, which is Pig, June, Come On, and No Way Home. Chris Trengrove says Drive My Car, The Power of the Dog, Benedetta, and The Father. Was The Father this year? I swear that was last year. I may be wrong. Frank Torres says June, Tick Tick Boom, No Way Home, and Pig. Okay, so we're quite on point here. Big Tone says No Way Home, June, King Richard, and Snyder Cut. Really sad. I miss King Richard. Then the text says
it's
Zack
available
Snyder's
for digital download, by the way, and I'm talking legally when I say that. It's actually out already.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out. Then the text Rushmore is the Schneider Cut. Snyder Cut, sorry. Free Guy, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Summer of Soul. And Gavin Mann is Hating Peter Fatchell, Worth, Riders of Justice, and Sound of Metal. I need to see Sound of Metal. And
Do you know what I just remembered as these came up? I was actually giving people time to type in. That's why that whole spiel came up, but it felt like a closer. Yeah, thank you.
Pedro, real talk. I've not even heard of The Pig. Neither of you mentioned
Literally,
The
I
Pig.
put
says
it down.
Pedro Sanchez. Never heard of it.
I literally had to write it down because I was like, Pig, I've not heard of it at all. Like, no trailer, no advert, like, not a mention. So, hey.
And that Gavin Mann puts a lovely comment here. I love listening to the old podcast. Helps me get through tedious housework, car journeys, and everything in between. Mate, blessed.
Thank you. Honestly,
Absolute
thank
blessed.
you. Honestly, thank
Pedro Sanctos's Rushmore is Titan, another round licorice pizza and Benedetta. I'm so fucking jealous that you've seen licorice pizza. I can't tell you. That's not out here in the UK until 7th of Jan, annoyingly. But yeah, that is your Rushmores, guys. Now let's go to last week when AJ was absent. Big Tone was in the house with me helping. And so the poll last week at We Love Movies was AJ. Sorry, I did a bad intro there. Can you lead into it in the way you normally do?
Right, okay. Before I was rudely cut, but hey, I went into a long bit earlier. Why would we be talking about the pleasures of going old school Rushmore? Because usually, as you're about to see, we, the Silver Screen Dudes, have the almighty challenge of taking the top 4 films of any given category. It gets even more challenging for you, the screeners, because while we have voted for the top 4, it's on you to vote for the best of the best of the best of the best. El Capitan, El Numero Uno. Andy's not here, but I'm still going to try and do him honor. To quote Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. That's what you guys have to do. So this week you will be voting for the top film of 2021. Last week our topic was the top 10 or the ranking of the Spider-Man movies, and our contenders were
Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man 2, and The Amazing Spider-Man. 311 of you voted. AJ, guess away.
Amazing Spider-Man at number 4.
Of course, that was always going to take a
No,
bash.
you know, with that one, I was really torn because it's a better film, but Gwen's death makes number 2 so amazing. It just really boosts that film. But anyway, yeah. So that's
10%. 10%. It took a hammering. By the way, there's only 6% separating the next 3.
Do you know what? I don't think in at number 3 has to be Into the Spider-Verse.
Nope.
Oh, shit me. No, they didn't do it dirty. Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Spider-Man 2 got done, not dirty. It got 27% of the vote.
Damn. Like, you know what? That is a powerful movie, man. It's damn powerful.
Hell
right. So in at number 2 is Into the Spider-Verse.
30%, correct.
And the Three Peters take it. No Way Home.
I do not agree with that result. Of all the Spider-Man movies, I think this is recent hype that's fueling this list.
It's hard. It's do you know what?
Is not the best Spider-Man movie.
Okay,
no way.
But you know, one thing that I kind of responded to with Den last week is, had we taken away the 70s movie and waited a bit longer, there will be Across the Spider-Verse. I still believe No Way Home would then win.
I believe so too. I think you are
right. So I think it's got a lot of hype because of what it is, but it is fun. And anyone who's followed the journey where Into the Spider-Verse gave you Spider-Mans that you will be familiar with if you've picked up a comic, this gave you everything as a film fan in the world of Spider-Man. And that's why I think it's a deserved winner.
Gavin Mann comes in with the last few comments here. I thought you missed the trick on your top villains episode. Clancy Brown and Highlander. You even said there can be only one. That's a good point.
Fair play.
Tucky says, just watch No Way Home today. And yes, I liked it, but not the masterpiece it's been made to be. Agreed. 100%.
As I said, it depends what you're looking for. That I believe it's you will get fanfare, and then it's what you were looking
major
for.
Major fanfare.
There's major fanfare all around. But yeah, for me, it's what I look for in a movie. It ticks all the boxes.
Big Tone says people are going to love No Way Home 20 years from now, for sure. But I don't think people are going to objectively look at it and be like, that's amazing. It's like, it was fun. It was a great time.
It is? It's culmination. Let's be honest. It's just those bits that it kind of closed the chapter. As much as Tom Holland signed up and there's more films, it just gave you everything from, oh, but wasn't this guy Spider-Man? What happened to that one? It was like, there you go. There's all your answers.
Let's wrap it.
Okay, guys, once again, please head on over to @MovieMT Rushmore. More importantly, we love movies. Movie polls for you. Who will be putting the post up? We will just be retweeting everything that JT puts up. Big shout out to you, JT. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Right, okay. Yeah, guys, just thank you once again. And yeah, hope you had a great new year. Do catch us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, Stitcher, GeoSavin, and just search for the Movie Mount Rushmore. Guys, it's been an awesome 2021. Have a blessed new year, and we'll catch you in 2022.
Hit the subscribe button, guys. Like the video, share the video with anyone who you think may be interested. And please, in 2022, bring a friend, bring some more people in to join in the debate, joining in the argument. We love you all. Guys, have a blessed new year. Stay safe. Do everything you do safely. And happy new year to everyone. Bring on 2022 and another great year of movies. And we cannot wait to see you all next week in the new year. Have a blessed one, guys. Lots of love. Bye.
See ya.